Jadi benar-benar dari semua map kita benar-benar dekat sama dia dan lumayan mengganggu gameplay kita lah.
So the things that I don't expect is the playstyle from Sem9. So that's the mistake that we learned back then, is because of our drop spot in every map is quite near with Sem9, and yeah, we don't expect these things gonna happen, and yes, they give us so much trouble.
I mean, that's the unexpected to be happening on the global stage, definitely now. You mentioned about Sem9. Are they one of your greatest threat when it comes to this stage, or will there be somebody else so far?
Kamu ngomong Sem9 nih, kamu mention Sem9. Apakah Sem9 itu salah satu tim yang kamu ngerasa PR terbesar kamu, ataupun ada tim-tim yang lain?
Enggak sih. Karena emang kemarin iseng aja, kita nggak expect dia bakalan main se-iseng itu.
Okay. So basically, it's not really Sem9 is our biggest threat, but then we just don't expect they're gonna play like that.
Okay, we might have more surprises for today, by the way. With tight points among the teams, and you still have a great chance to make it to the last chance stage. What's your focus to improve your rankings since today is your last day? And what do you think is the most important outcome for today's games?
Okay, jadi kalau kita lihat dari point system, poin kalian itu tidaklah terlalu jauh untuk kamu lolos ke ke last chance. Jadi, apakah fokus terbesar yang kamu mau fokusin hari ini supaya kamu bisa lolos ke last chance?
Kita lebih ngemaksimalin tiap game sih. Jadi kalau tiap game kita mendapatkan hasil yang bagus, poin juga bakalan ikutan bagus juga. Jadi kita fokus game per game.
Okay, so basically we're gonna focus on each game. We're gonna focus on our first game first. It's because of, I believe if we focus on each game, the point will come afterward. So we're just gonna do our best in every single map, so that yeah, we're gonna maximize our point.
I agree. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time as well. But we're done here on Stage Live. We're going to toss it back to the casters. Good luck, all the best for all the teams out there competing, especially when it comes to Green Group. Today will be the last day performing, and the next day they have to just wait it out. We're just going to toss it back to the casters. Casters, take it away.
Well, as you heard there, Potato, Alter Ego, and all the teams from Group Green, this is your last chance, your last 6 matches to get as many points as possible and potentially keep yourself in the safe zone. I'm Jason Kappan, and we got Maxman and Kalaris here on the desk to break down everything happening, obviously, yesterday and what's to come up today. And honestly, Max, well, no, I'm not going to go to you, Max. I'm going to go to Kalaris first. Alter Ego had a rough day, to say the least.
Yes, they did, and I VOD reviewed them quite extensively. So obviously we heard in the interview there that, you know, Sem9 was one of their downfalls. Luckily for them, they're not playing today. However, I think that is not the issue for them. Yesterday, the issue for them in 4 games out of the 6 was unnecessary risks. You think back to the Sandhawk, you get caught in the water, BTR takes you down, you're done. You think, and the other water scenario on Erangel as well, that was not required whatsoever. The first game on Erangel, where they're coming late to the circle, they're trying to go for a central spot. You're too late. Try and play edge instead. Again, another unnecessary risk. And then finally Sem9 on Erangel being able to take them out when they're trying to find cars, right? So all of these unnecessary risks that they're taking could be easily mitigated if they're just playing a bit more mature PUBG Mobile and trying to play a bit more of a controlled style.
Well, there you go. Before we can hop into some more analysis here, Max, I know you're just ready to talk. Got to remind you guys at home about the Infinix GT10 Pro official smartphone here at PMGC 2023. And while you're on your new lovely device, make sure you check out TikTok with the tag PMGC 2023 to find out some stuff behind the scenes, hopefully some interviews, hopefully anything for you guys to watch. And of course, if you do post about the event, make sure you use the hashtag as well. But Max, as you heard Kalaris break down Alter Ego, there's another team out there we really have to focus our attention on, a team who had a special invite into the group stage. It's G Gladiators.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to talk about them.
I'm making you talk about them.
I don't know. I want to talk about them. I mean, Gladiators, we expect more, right? I still believe in the Gladiators cheese. They're going to cheese until the very end here, Jason. They're going to maybe qualify to the survival stage, to the last chance, should I say, with just a few points. But I want to look onto other teams possibly, because we got also a big shift of groups, right? And one of the few teams that's been added to the mix today that I'm especially excited to see play is going to be Enigma Galaxy. They played exceptionally well back in their Group Red, and especially with Coops, he was the second top fragger of his group. One of the best pickups, I would say, in the entire year of PUBG Mobile eSport, right? With how they are able to take these fights now, how aggressive they are. I'm especially interested to see how they're going to fight for their spot in Pmgc on Erangel against, I believe it's Xavier, how that really unfolds. but Nigma Galaxy has to be one of the teams that everyone is looking at to qualify for the grand finals, so they're a very big favorite for me here going in these matches.
I'm hyped for them. I'm also hyped for Duksan as well, because South Korea, let's go. Here we are.
Oh.
They're awesome. They're awesome. And I mean, to be fair, they had a great start to their group initially, and they kind of fell off slowly as time went on. But I've said it multiple times, as South Korea constantly gets more and more days, more games on the board, they're great at assimilating information. All of their teams, all of the teams that qualify for PMGC. So I'm hoping for Duksan to prove big here again today.
That was great analysis about Gladiators, by the way.
I was going to say, well, that's great stuff to talk about, obviously, Nigma Galaxy and Duksan. But, Max, I really want to hammer home about Gladiators here. My attention, actually, are over towards potentially Inco Gaming, because, obviously, they've seen their brethren teams of Alpha 7, of Loops, of Influence Rage perform pretty well. I'm curious to see if they can rise up.
There's room for them to, of course, catch up here, but as we know, for the survival stage, it's only 2 days. The team of Group Green only have 6 matches remaining to have an impact on the leaderboards. And after, I mean, Kalaris in esports, this is always the worst scenario to be in. You just got to stay and watch and just hope that the other teams around you don't perform well, which is the most insane situation to be in, because you just cannot have the impact you're hoping for anymore.
No, for sure. It's a terrifying prospect to actually kind of stare down. For Rejects, of course, I think that obviously right now they got themselves 17 points yesterday. Compare that to the group stage that they had, which was 188 points in total. For me, I don't know if 2 days is enough for Rejects and rotating lobbies for them to gain traction, because Rejects' performances came in the latter stages of their group as a whole, compared to some of the earlier days and the early results. That said, as well, there's some uncharacteristic numbers that came out from yesterday. Procedure, for example, only 10 eliminations across 6 games. This is a team that can get that in 1 game, no problem, considering what we saw from them in the group stage. So my eyes are also on them, aside from Alter Ego, because I just think that they're capable of more.
100%. I completely agree, and unfortunately, just not seen out of them and the Twins. But you know what? Obviously, rotating groups. I think for me, as you kind of mentioned, right? Like, we have rotating groups. It kind of doesn't favor some of the teams. But for me, PMGC is always about finding the best all-around team, because there's so many different kind of mini tournaments within tournaments, right? You have your group stage where you play out the same teams over the course of 3-4 days. Then you have this event where you have rotating groups. You have to be adaptive. Then you get to the grand finals where it's going to be a sprint, or I guess the last stage coming up in just 2 days, where it's really a sprint, right? With just 2 days of play. You got to be good all around, and we're going to find the team to be just that, hopefully, very, very soon. But one team I did want to focus on, just really quickly, because I want to throw this out there in case it happens. Influence Rage. You're so far in the lead, there should be no chance you're ever going to fall into the bottom 8. Do you start to hot drop on some teams' potential, start to kind of put yourself in rotational paths of some of the teams, well, obviously not them because they're not playing here, maybe Mad Bulls is a better case in the situation, to punish teams and prevent them from potentially qualifying? Because Influence Rage will come tomorrow, Mad Bulls is today.
We always theorize this, and it pretty much never happens, right?
But I want to see it!
You want to see it, okay, but other teams going to take that risk? I'm not quite sure. You could do it if you want at the second half of the day. I think now is a bit early to do that. You're safe. You're not 100% safe, so just...
Mad Bulls? You don't...
I mean, for Influence Rage, I would just say, just play the half of the day, just chill, normal. Then if you want, and see how it happens. I think the earlier you do it, the more responsive teams are going to be to that, and they're going to adapt around you, potentially hot dropping them, right? So if you Influence Rage, Mad Balls, BTR, maybe you want to take a bit more time before going for a play like that. I don't know who you'd want to pick out. Maybe Rejects, maybe also Gladiators right now could be a team to take down. I don't know. Could be.
I have a thought. I do think Mad Bulls is relatively safe. I mean, considering that I think that the performance will continue here throughout the day. I think if you were going to target anybody based on these 2 groups alone, I wouldn't even mind looking towards Procedure for on Erangel. If you think about their potential rotational paths from something like Yasnaya going up against kind of Rozok, sometimes those can potentially clash from time to time, and Erangel is the most, as we all do our little things. Please sir, I want to be next. You know, I think that could be a target. If they were going to do something, I don't know whether they will though.
I'd even go on Alter Ego, to be honest. I think that would be a good team to take down.
Maybe.
They could be a threat.
I mean, that's a good point. If you prevent people from hot dropping you when we get into the last chance stage, then it means your position's going to be a lot cleaner. You're limited in games. You have a better chance of qualifying through. But let's see what's going to break down as we're heading to our first match of the day with Sandhawk. Going to throw it over to our commentators, Jack and Blink, to take it away.
Thank you, Jason. Oh, it's exciting already because I kind of like the way you can see we're all there in anticipation. It was cool. I like the way you kind of had, the we're in school blank. We want to get our opinions.
Oh,
in.
yeah.
Because even me and you were speculating, we're theory crafting. It's sick, man. This week's going to be so damn good. Like, the quality of games yesterday was great. If that carries on, I'm living for it, Blank.
Yeah, I mean, we were having a little chat behind the scenes there. I mean, to be honest with you, there's a lot to talk about here. You know, you have some of these groups here that are now playing their last day. It's Group Green. This is their final day today before we head in towards tomorrow. Everyone gets 2 days of play between both the survival stage and that last chance. And some of the players, some of the teams in Group Green are in real danger right now. It's a stressful experience. U2 Alliance, they look happy. They look ready to go. They look very, very excited to get things on the road here. They had a pretty good upwards trend over in their group. Didn't start off so strong, but ended it quite significantly well. Obviously not getting in towards that direct invite stage, but yeah, for Group Green, things do get a little tough here. And you know, we were chatting about, like, you know, there's really only a couple of teams from Group Green that we actually thought were fairly decent towards the end of it, and it kind of felt like the group of death. But the more we look into it, the more we see there's actually some very, very good teams in some of these other groups that definitely deserve more praise.
Absolutely. I think that's sort of the speculation that we had when we came to this agreement. You know, like, looking back on it, in retrospect about the rose-tinted goggles or green-tinted goggles, really, the upper echelons of that group were absolute masterclass, right? Even Reject Tokyo can be lumped in with that, with how well they were playing over that week. But since coming into this, well, hang on a minute, hold that thought. It seems that hot drops are happening, Blank. What's going on here? Straight into the action. Is that Mad Balls under pressure already?
It is Inco versus Mad Balls here. And we saw this versus Mad Balls in the very first day of their group versus Falcons. They lost their hot drop, but they're used to it now. They're expecting something to go off. They've already found one knock off the bat here. Let's see if they can find any more, Jackie.
How far can they go with this then? Fleeke getting the reload off instantly, trying to assess the situation. Now Mad Bulls
Ovozbon mujiki. Contest o'tkazib yubordik-ku. Mad Bulls bilan Inco. Inco, Baker. Oy oy oy. Ikki qolishdi. Taktulik ondan Bazeric ursa. Kirish kerak ikkiga bir. Ay ay ay. Tulika решай. Хорош. Birga bir qoldi. Skosh sayga bilan kelyapti. Yaxshi otadi Skosh. Ay ay ay, bir qilib qoldi.
Last player alive, Tulika. Can he clutch this out?
Ovozi вообще baland bilan. David qo'rdi Skosh.
Calls for the backup of his teammates, rotating further over so he's got room to try and pick him up later if possible. Doesn't peek off the back of the bait of the movement.
Birga bir Tulika, Skosh. Ko'ramiz nima bo'ladi. Tulikani avtopad bor yo'qmi deyman. Yugurib yurgan joyda narsalar olib tashyapti.
Even if either one of these solos get away and give up the final elim, you have crippled yourself coming into the opening game today. And this is it, Blank. They've got to roll with the punches now.
Bir-biridan qochib yuraveradi endi. Bunda da bes, unda atak Skoshda shans ko'proq baribir. Bu yoqda nima bo'lyapti? Qachon Mad Bullsga farqi yo'q, Mad Bulls proxod qilib olgan уже. Mad Bulls bemalol o'ynasa ham bo'ladi. Mad Bullsga umuman farqi yo'q bu yerda. Flashga beryapti. Kerak emas narsani ko'rsa, o'tirib to'g'ri boshqa joyga o'tqizsa, boshqa joyda nima bo'layotgan? Mana shuni ko'rish kerak edi davno. Rauf, geniy. Contest shunisi yomon-da. Nad Baltu.
for Tulika himself.
Nadbaltu mash qattiq bandasi ekan, ha, Nadbaltu.
Oh man, that is a rough way.
Nadbaltu qani NBS Mongolia ekan bular ham.
That we have time to speculate. Give a bit of
Medgo qandaysizlar, zo'rmi? Va chotki o'zinglar qalaysilar mujiki? Charchamayapsizlar.
just what he ordered, you know, fresh from the oven there. The hot drops.
PGF Misery.
Mad Balls just walking away with just the one man as well. In the worst case,
Garalisini вообще voqli taymingda olishdi-yu.
to steal that last deal.
Sona qanaqa edi?
Wrap that up in a neat little package. If that is
Ovozlar yaxshimi? Vallahi meni ovozim, stream ovozi
we're going to be
hammasimda komfortni eshitilyaptim.
I don't know what would be. You know, maybe like a beef stroganoff.
Yeah, I mean, for some of these teams, some of these squads, right, it was kind of interesting because we were sort of speculating, is Mad Balls somebody wants a hot drop? In the end, they have to, but it's Inko who does engage that. And I think for Inko, maybe not the greatest.
Sifan.
We were talking about how, you know, here on Sandhawk, you do want to try and get as many
Voy oy al-Hajanni berib qo'yibdi chigzi уже.
from this map because you only
Push qilishyapti chigzi solo.
you don't want to go
Hay ochdi, kutyapti.
on these games. Tixi
Qafulka keldi уже.
here, no one else to help him. He's got a DBS versus the three-man squad here of Quest.
Nima bo'lar ekan? Voy, chigzi uxlab qoldi. Hozir.
Barrel action straight into the face of Kitsune as well causes him to go bounding around like a very aggressive bunny rabbit, and he's put the foot down. Blank at least hits onto one. The sprint out as well, basically just offering themselves up as sacrifice there. Those are some freebies for Gladiators. You get the response in as well for the situation, get everyone back on their feet. You're going to be happy with that.
Yeah, you got to be really, really pleased with the fact that Tixie's able to hold his own on this compound. It is typically where Tixie does play as well, over towards this eastern side, able for the rest of the team to get over towards him as well. And I think that that is nice. That's a nice regroup coming through from Gladiators. A lot of times they've been fairly slow on that approach. If one player is all on his lonesome, backup doesn't come half as quick enough a lot of times. So for Tixie, he is thanking his teammates, clapping them on the back there. That is a very, very pleasing result for Gladiators. Not so much for Quest, currently on 13 points. It's not really looking too good for this team, even after the absolute mad plays we saw from Al Haji yesterday. I don't know how much further Quest is going to be able to get into this tournament, but I think next year is going to be a really good year for Al Haji, no matter what team he's on.
I think they've done well, at least in kind of winning the hearts of the fans a little bit as well, with the time we've seen from them on camera, the way they've come across in their interviews, and the resilience we saw, at least in regulation, back in Group Green, right? You know, for them to actually fight through and even still be in the tournament in a position where we can still be talking about them right now, Blank, at least for me, was impressive. It just felt like there was a little bit of room for them to get another step forward. It's a shame how some of the games have gone for Quest, especially yesterday. It was rough. It was raw. Misery back on screens here, though. Evos instantly aggressing, looking to try and build themselves a few points on this one. Misery got the early knock off with the UMP. Redface and Co now moving in to clear out the upper compound as well, and flushing their way through anyone that dares to peek into them.
Yeah, it's a nice little fight there from Pasija Evos versus N-Hyper, leaving them down to one player now. And I think for Pasija Evos, this is very well set up. Yesterday didn't look too great for Pasija Evos. I mean, they were doing extremely well over in our group stage, but kind of fell off just a little bit there towards our first day of play for Group Green. 21 points, though. It's not terrible. It's not ideal either, but it's good enough. Pasija Evos...
Nima bo'lib ketdi? Voy, Misery otolmadi-yu. Xanax. Xenox bilasizlar qaysi komandani o'yinchisi bo'lgan? GG nima bo'ldi? Yopilib ketdimi bichra? Yo'q. U bez minus yopishibdi, yaxshi. Ko'rmay qoldim. Odam kelib qoldi. Israel versus Javas.
Hit and miss yesterday, Blank. Honestly, to be fair with you, mate, I feel like we saw a truer test of them, at least in Group Green. You know, from what we saw.
Very may feel like lost in Group Green.
There were times where it felt like this guy was a bit of a one-man army. I don't feel like he was as quick to the
Man bu pasida nima yozyapti, tushunmadim.
with a day of rest, you've come back in a little bit more fresh face today. Would
Mana bu narsa nimaga yozyapti? Bizga kerakmi bu narsa?
I mean, for the Turkey squad, it's just a little bit difficult for them at the moment. I mean, they've been making a lot of right moves. And I think for an edge team that likes to kind of read into opponents' movements around the map and cut the legs out from underneath them, they did a good job of it in terms of theory, right? In theory, where they were playing, it was all fantastic. Then they were going down to these engagements. They weren't always
Nima yozyapti bu?
cleanly with a four-man squad going onwards and just clearing from there. And they ended up just losing.
O'chirib qo'ysa bo'ladimi subtitrni?
Risk of playing edge a lot of times whilst you're holding out and guarding those edge sides.
Ha, bo'lar ekan. Yaxshi.
Engagement there.
Ha, kalla ishlab qoldi.
Right, there's not much chance of getting very much further into the game. For other teams that like to leapfrog from edge and then send towards a kind of a middling position between the center of the circle and the opposite side of it, you have much more chance to get further into the game.
Rauf.
Yourself some pretty consistent placement points off the back of it. And we had a really good conversation as well yesterday.
Rauf tekinga kelib qoldi.
Mixing up my time zones. It's all going so quickly right now. Where we were talking about, look, some of these teams yesterday just
Nok berish qiyin lekin hozir bu yerdan o'tyapti-yu. Вообще qiyin narsa bu.
have to, whereas other teams sort of got in their own heads a bit.
Yeah, that was one of the big focal points. We were kind of umming and ahhing.
Nasr Space.
You could see
Nasr Star. Xenex.
a team like Influence Rage who came out just playing their style, just absolutely giving it, right? Any opportunity they had to just swing on a fight, play confidently, going into an engagement basically thinking, we've already won this. They're just thinking about the points being in their pocket. You're going to have so much more of a better time of it than going into it giving so much respect to teams, overthinking these situations. And we've seen that change. A lot of our squads from Group Green, it feels like their play styles have kind of flip-flopped more so than anything compared to what we were seeing during that regular point. This is an interesting one actually.
Yo'q, GG'larga maza. Fayzli centerda o'tirishibdi.
At least getting a bit more confidence to fight and contest for center
Ah,
control.
so nice.
A bit lucky there in terms of the draw of the circle, but it works out. You've got a compound, you're in a good spot, and they're going to be pleased with this, mate. They'll be chuffed with that blank. Because when they had center control, when they felt comfortable early in a compound, this is where we saw some of the better games from Reject. Because honestly, they're great on defense. Good comms. It just felt like getting there was rough for them. They've been playing a lot of edge, and it hadn't been working out too well. I'd hope that would be a positive change. Bit of a fight potentially developing here as well. You've got the push up the
Hop.
hill.
Nigma bilan
Is drawn
Nasr.
from Nasr towards
Arablar.
the side, but a few bullets whizzing on by. Remember
Ikkita arablar ko'ramiz nima bo'ladi bular. Fight qilmasa ham kerak deb o'ylayman lekin.
This is a case where
Unda Nigma уже skip qilyapti.
think about just swinging wide of this, potentially trying to get in underneath towards Painan. I think Nigma Galaxy is a team that is very well known for some of their more
Oi, oi.
rotations. A little bit of a scout there from Ralph. He's in
J7.
danger now.
Mana shu kishiga hayron bo'ldim, devoru.
Vehicle is going at a strong 90 miles per hour. Alter Ego zooming in towards where Reject
Alter Ego yana o'lyaptimi?
Octa gets taken down here. They try and take control of one edge, but Reject has penned them in, locks them into one location. Now the nades can start to come through. There's a lot of damage off the back.
Yo'da Rauf nok bo'ldi.
Ralph, we talked about him earlier, being very, very low.
Mana komandalarni qaranglar, mo'liklarni otishini qatlaga turib otyapti, o'zi ham bilmaydi nima qilayotgan.
the way they can defend themselves.
Reject.
These bad boys.
Qanaqa qilib chiqqan bular?
So much damage. Reject Tokyo setting themselves up. They're trying to
Reject Tokyo deydimi?
defense and readjust what positions they're playing from so they can support each other a little bit.
Shoxi, Yuni,
Reject Tokyo normally very good
Benny.
lining up those double nades.
Niklarni qaranglar. Yuni, Benny, Zipian, Shoxi.
Hillside as well. There's been a bit of commotion here. Teams have been making their presence known, and that high ground control is going to be worth its weight in gold the longer this one goes on. So pressure being applied there. Rotation coming in as well. You've got Alliance on the move as they start
Alliance.
to play over. Drop in the smoke so they've actually got some cover to work with. And you'd need it.
See you later.
And they're eagle-eyed, Blank. They've got
See you later. Nick is all lekin see you later.
This is probably one of the toughest rotates currently happening on around the map, where they're sort of locked in between DX as well as Malise Esports. DX has a fantastic control of his high
And Bess.
we saw a lot from them yesterday is identifying some very strong positions on the map, but also being really good at holding them down. Not necessarily always in compounds.
GG win kartaga o'xshatdi bu.
Have that high ground control. They
O'zini krayini yopib bo'lsa hozir. Tak bu yoqga уже hech kim o'ynamaydi 100%. GG uchish kerak bu kartani. Men bolani qaranglar, basharasini men bu. Mana kino bo'lardi, o'ng bak degan shon bilan bir xil bashara. Ups, хорош. Поражин. Поражин. Bitta kill bor. Plus kill. Nasrlar yopiladi poходу hozir. Oy, kesiyu kaltay oldi. Again, nice at 5 eliminations found so far. Really good stuff from them. I think this is interesting. There is a lot of these squads that we see. Bam cholla qaranglar. Bu brat semiz brat. Qanaqa PUBG o'ynayotgan? Aka bizani o'zbek communityda ham bor o'pdi semiz. Azib ketmayman lekin. Oxir oldi mana shu. Nasrlar. Nechta komanda egin atib bordi, oxir oldi bittasi. Делай aksiya. Bola yopilishadi poходу. Unda oxirgisi zazona qoldi. Bola vibe. Bu ham oldi. Shunisi yomonda, Sanukka. Hech nimaga ulgurib bo'lmaydi. See you later ham oldi. Bo'ldi. Yeah, Cluck's doing a really good job here. I actually like the thought process we saw from UDU Alliance. Unfortunately for them, hamma komandalar bir-birini uryapti. Ben bilan hozir Jijintiga o'ynaydi, Jijilar ham yo'qdan joyiladi. Bo'l hammani yopadi keyin kartani. Ben bu Nadbaltu kempidan chiqa olmaydi. Unda ham bo'ldi. Yo alter ego yo GG uchish kerak bu kartdan. Tailand, Vietnam, Xitoy, Koreya, Yapon, Mongol hammasini basharasi bir xil to'g'rimi to'g'rimi? Endi bilmadim. Mana unaqa politikaga aralashtirmaylar. Bir xil bo'lsa bir xildir. In the back of my brain, just reminding me of one of the Sandhawk games we saw from Gladiators quite some time ago. And I just remember it starting off. O'xshash bir-biriga lekin hammasida. Chingizxonning avlodida. Base Mormon. Base Clan. Bularni CSGO komandasi kontrol o'ynayapti hozir. Chual. Qatlaga durotyapti. Informatsiyasi yo'q shekilli. Nadbaltu nok bo'lyapti DX'dan. DX'dan nok bo'lishi вообще g'alati, lekin Nadbaltu kempda o'tiribdi ular. Alter ego JS o'ldiryapti. Bu GGga bu easy karta qilib berishyapti hozir. Ajoyib zajim. Bir dona o'qitaydi faqat. Zon olib ketdi. Unisi ham olib ketdi. Ana. Very much feels like back towards my university days where the deadline's looming and then suddenly I'm in the library for 24 hours. That's how
how it always goes with gladiators, man.
15 kill bilan olishadi kamida.
I'm the same. Unless the deadline's there, it's not getting done. And that's the way they play. And honestly, it's working wonders for
Kamida 15 kill bilan olishadi menimcha.
We're looking over to them. They're starting to build up more elims. And like you're saying, zone-wise as well, they're in a good position to make a play off this. The one awkward encounter in the dead center as well is Reject Tokyo, now basically being the reject.
Reject Tokyo.
All of FaZe in full force around them as well. So not really what you want to be. A bit of flat sharing going.
Qatga ketmoqchi bo'ldi u hozir. Mana Parajin.
FaZe are going to clap back onto DX as well, finding a way to peek through the window.
Ichganmi nima alkash.
Parajin, that's an unlucky knock.
Yeah, I think right now, even though he's able to get
Qachon PMPL o'ynaysizlar?
nothing, this little high ground
Ya prosta hazil-ku. Tushundim. Xudo xolasa o'ynaymiz.
coming off that high ground.
O, Nadbalto jijini push qilyapti.
Milk it for as much as they can here. Stay on this top side.
Plus 4 kelyapti, plus 4. Bitta zona qoldi, plus 3.
Now, Gladiators need to be ready for this one. Kitsune luckily is in position.
Voy.
Only able to find one though, and that's not quite enough. The rest of the team instantly needs to improvise off the back of this. Sek and Mondo are down, so it's a decent start. The nades start pouring in.
Yaxshi.
Nade on the backside towards Fistboy. Just a Kaze left remaining.
Bo'ldi, yopildi.
Quickly clean them up there.
Joy-joydan ketsin olib ketdi. TBSdan kutib olish kerak emas edi. Ajoyib zajim. Voy. Machik pasmiga qo'ydi.
This is perfection.
Zonasi bor bularni.
Precisely from gladiators right now. That was beautiful. The nade work to defend after the crash was on point, and then straight back into hungering for more elims.
Bol 12 va uni ko'tarib bo'lmaydi. Adashmasam Fnatic'ga 13. Da Fnatic ko'tarib bo'lmaydi. Ochik zazon olmoqchimi? Bo'ldi, 13, 13 ta kill bor уже. FaZe'lar lekin maza qilyapti lekin bitta.
Right now, it's FaZe with a very strong position. Alter Ego still need to work their way in as well, but they went out earlier on.
Kim yutadi? Nima deb o'ylaysizlar?
Putting on. Good little
GG reject FaZe.
Gladiators. More points would be absolutely gorgeous for them here. They could win out this game.
Bo'ladi zonasi ko'chada.
Towards that top side of the lobby after just one match. So 20 points. Realistically, if they can get themselves 25 after this, they'll be very, very safe. It'll be
Mormon.
a buffer. They still will need to put in the work after the rest of the day. They'll be in so much better stead. And taking that
Ben bu sara xalaqtib qoladimi deyman nejijiga. O,
day is so
yaxshi. Eng apasli narsa mana shu edi.
Taking the pressure off themselves and applying it to reject Tokyo. Problem is though, it's not going to turn
Meko.
into diamonds. It seems like they will instead just buckle under the pressure. Bit of a peek out here from FaZe though, as gladiators encroach further on the compound, closing in on them.
Yomon hayot qishyapti. Eshikni sindirib eshidan tiq.
The equation, nade after nade barreling through, swing from FaZe on the stairs.
Oxirgi zona 5 sekunddan keyin yuradi.
Sameku left black and blue down on his last leg.
Babu FaZe zonasi qilib tashlaydi lekin.
Gladiators with only a duo remaining blank.
I think regardless what happens there, I think Gladiators are fairly pleased with
Bekkor o'ldirishdi de shuni.
He was always left behind.
Bekkor o'ldirishdi.
The rest of the team get further up. Now it's Matic.
Matic, Clash.
Scenario. It's going to be very difficult for him to pull this type of thing off. Goes for the pre-fire.
Ayo, qiyin ekan.
All these players in. Has an idea of where they're swinging. This rock is really nice to play around, but on Zen, he's on the prowl. And it
Qiyin,
was
qiyin.
by the rest of the team. Mormon finishes off Matic.
Chiqib borishdi. FaZe o'ldirish kerak emas edi. Ey, rejectda. Tualetda tegmay turish kerak edi o'shanga. Chiqardi-da besdan, men bularga nok berardi. Bilmadim, короче. Yomon parod qilishdi. FaZe'lar молодцы. Kill kam bo'lsa ham to'p olib ketdi. Takbibkani o'chirib turing. Ovqatlanib olishim kerak. G'alati narsalar ham borda. Mana ashkar emas paytida. Inco Gaming'da. Qizil o'yin bo'ldi lekin. Ha. 15 dakika aytdim Messi dedi bo'lsa. Çok bir olganda 18 kill bilan olarkan. No, yaxshi. Yana bitta shunaqa kart o'ynab, keyin qolgan 4 ta kartada 20 ta hisob chiqsa ham proxod qiladi. Ovoz bera qol-ya. Zerikib qolmanglar.
Leave this compound and go north towards FaZe. I think they already took one elimination off of FaZe, so they knew that they were weakened, or in a weakened state, but it was very slow, very unsuccessful trying to breach the position of FaZe here. So I like that Reject was a winning move. Materialize. At least they got high up in this game, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that the situation they were in with Ultra Ego playing the Road Trifecta compound is you want to work with Ultra Ego and stand that compound for as long as possible to gatekeep other potential threats later on down the line. If you stay there with Ultra Ego, you eliminate Nemo Galaxy, Deke Xavier, Ducksan. You can also maybe eliminate some players of Gladiators as they're getting pushed down Bootcamp Hill, and off the back of that, you can transition through the rocks, maybe make over to FaZe. I think that was the better approach, but to be honest, the moment Deke Xavier died, right, Kalaris, they could play those rocks and survive super fine to the match. So it ended up working out, but I think there was maybe another option available. But that's the cool thing. There's so many ways to play it that you don't know which one might be the best at the end.
I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying, like a symbiotic relationship in that compound for a little while. The thing I look at it is that they got third in this game, and would they have probably have got third if they'd have stayed in that compound as well? Yeah, probably. Yeah. But would they have got first? Almost absolutely not. So I think that, you know, they were trying to go for it all, and obviously it didn't pan out.
Yeah, and again, trying to make those plays that are really important for them, considering Reject coming into this one from Group Green. So they only have, well, now 5 matches left to go. They have to get as many points as possible. They have to make sure that to make the right decisions, though, as we did look at a drop as well between Mad Bulls and Inco. And Mad Bulls, a team that it really doesn't matter for them, right? They're pretty much safe into at least them trying to scrape by as many points as possible. I think they got 3 with the eliminations. They're realizing, okay, well, this is not going to work out. Let's try to salvage with something. But they have to maybe look forward now to the next 5 matches.
Yeah, you don't forget the best part of that fight here, Jason, is just Raul coming like, sit down.
Sit down, back with close vision.
That was a good bit.
That was a good bit right there. But yeah, it's a hot drop. It is normally Inco that would have to change that drop because Mad Bulls, as you touched upon, Kalaris, during that game, already so comfortable. It is currently their fight to win currently in that position. If they win it, they clear it for the last chance. And Inco, they're just going to be maybe completely out of that position from the get-go. So yeah, Inco, cool. It's fair enough. There's only
Medga PODDERJKA qilamiz ama. Bu farqi yo'q. Choyni emas, kurishga qilib bersangiz bo'lardi o'zi.
Yeah, it would be even especially more huge if there was more than 1 Sandhawk per day, right? But there's very little interest in giving up your position when you've done as well as you did like yesterday as Mad Bulls.
One thing I do want to mention really quickly.
Mad Bulls bo'ldi, proxod qilib bo'ldi o'sha.
And I kind of really like the idea of it. We did see Ultra Ego change job location, as was mentioned already on the desk here. They went up towards Cow. But then when the zone started shifting away from Corey, more centralized, and they were on the east side of Corey, you were talking about what do they do here in this position, and Clarence, I wanted you to bring that up just really quickly.
Yeah, again, they're just playing really risky PUBG Mobile. Like, going for these wide rotates, going up against Quarry, which is a very difficult place to transition away from. They have to bomb it through to try and make something happen. If they'd have come in from the north, it might have just been an easier time. But, yeah, they did all right. But it was, again, very risky PUBG Mobile here.
Yeah. High risk, potentially high reward for Altigo, who desperately need every single point they possibly can in our final 5 matches. And it's time to head into our second match of the day, which is our first Erangel of the day with Jackie and Blake.
Ooh, the first of the 3 Erangels. This is good. This is always my favorite Porsche and Blank, because it feels like we start to get the more nuanced games, right, where we can kind of expect the more unexpected. But this lobby's already looking kind of wild, so we'll see what we get, Blank. We'll see what we get. We're in for some treats.
Yeah, I think that the guys on the desk touch on a really important point here is that for some of these teams, you know, specifically what Kalaris was talking about really interested me in the sense that, you know, Reject, they go for the game-winning play at the end of the day. And I think you have to...
Kaç doğallaşken o var ya.
You really do have to go for these sort of things because, honestly, for Group Green, we know that this is their last day of play to get in towards that survival stage, to not be in the bottom 8. And again, because you are the group that's playing the first 2 days in a row, you don't play the last day, you don't really know what marker you're aiming for, right? You don't know where that bullseye lies because no one is on that 16th position where it's just fixed, and you can think to yourself, we only need to get this amount of points to get in. So you have to push it to the max every single game, and I think that some teams are realizing, I would say too late at this point in time in Group Green, that they have to go for these game-winning moves. That had to come through yesterday. Absolutely had to come through yesterday. I think Mad Bulls took their fate into their own hands very quickly, as did Influence Rage, who have more than secured their position over towards the last chance phase. At this point, I think they have 77 points, something ridiculous at this point in time. So I think for some of these teams, maybe it's coming through too late. You need a little bit of luck today. You need to really hit your shots. You need to be making strong rotations, and maybe, just maybe, able to bump those points up just enough. I think for Quest,
Webga kerakmi o'zi yo yoqmaymi?
start of the day there on Sandhawk versus a team
Xalaq qilmaydigan joy turgan ekan u.
not the greatest Sandhawk team or really knock their confidence away. We know Quest made it in by the skin of their teeth, literally 1 point in Group Green to get towards that survival stage. I don't know if
Ko'ramiz kim yaxshi o'ynaydi.
going to cut it here, where a lot of teams, we're starting to cut down past the teams that, you know, didn't get past the first group stage. They're now in the survival stage now, where we have a lot of really, really strong teams. They won't just sit down and die like Tiamba did.
Interes.
No, it's not going to be anywhere near as easy or as fine of a margin. I think that's the other part as well, is the fact that that was 1 point of difference. I would imagine it's going to be a little bit more of a stark contrast here. Hello, imagine.
I would have cried.
That would have been huge.
Tushunmadim, Inko Navarepga yetib borishmoqchimi?
But not going to happen. They will try and instigate the fight though onto Elise as best as possible. They know they're a little bit fragmented over in Alliance territory.
Mana mashinani manimcha hammasiga anaqa bergan. Mana shu dachani hammasiga временный bergan hamma o'yinchilarga.
But yeah, it is very, I don't know, it's quite a curious way to start off the day really, in terms of some of the teams that we saw.
Reklama qilish uchun.
It was a bit more unexpected for me. After what we saw from Gladiators, I was kind of starting to shift into that, you know, you don't believe in the Gladiators camp. But as soon as it feels like you hit that point on the meter, that's when they bounce back. I think they do it just to like spite everyone. They do, man. They really want to kind of like rope you into the idea that it's not going to happen, and then, you know, they make all the fans book their tickets last minute to the finals.
To'g'ri, hamma komandada bor.
We'll see if they can maintain pace, because it was a good game.
Eng qizig'i bir xil hammasida.
It's a key point that you hit on as well that I think is quite interesting, in the sense
Mormon.
that the best they can do now is try and repeat that as much as possible today, because obviously they've left themselves with no other chances to
DS Uni.
So if you're leaving it up to another team to decide
Oppa.
your fate, that's the
Bular hali ham nima qilib havoda?
Losing Alva off the back as well. And I think this is something that's happened a few times now, coming through from the boys on the squad. And I think that when you look at this, for Alter Ego,
Tushunmadim, qatta edi bular? Pachinkin tepasida tushiribdi.
drop trash around Mansion.
don't go for this 2-2 split between Lipovka as well as Mansion itself.
Lipovka da diyor.
The amount of teams that saw you yesterday get fleeced by other squads, of course, NBE Sports is going to come down here and start taking some shots. Mondo's coming in with the
Riskovat qilishadimi deyman chiqib.
The best Rosemary can do is
Atak ko'tarib bo'lmaydi manimcha teammate'ini.
hit a couple of shots over with.
Вообще нереальный narsa.
I don't know, man.
No, this is looking pretty raw. It's like uncooked beef at this point.
Da sotadi.
It is not what you want, mate. One by one, just getting finished off a little bit here for Altair Ego. They've had such a rough couple days in terms of their opening drops.
And best.
You know, it does really feel like everyone's sort of passed the word around that Altair Ego is the easier team to bully on these drops, Blank. It just keeps happening.
Yeah. I mean, you make yourself an easy
Matic,
one.
Meko, Kitsun.
Won those points.
Неужели бля нижний не удхолшмапт?
Adjustments, it's not going to go well in future. Maxman, very astutely
The Max
pointed.
update.
Max update, from the Max mansion itself. You know, Nigma Galaxy usually dropping towards.
Böyle de barışa maşını.
Savior over in Group Green refused to give up Pachinki whatsoever. They kept dropping there every single time. Even on
Every single time.
over towards Severny, they give it up. It's the first time they've never dropped there. I think for
Hamada bir xil mashdachi.
really important little tidbit to go off the top of because I like this maneuver. You drop towards Pachinki versus Nigma Galaxy. You know this is a strong team, but right now you're
Reklama yaxshi narsa.
3 points. Consistency can be afforded now. So
Nasr Zenix.
for DX Xavier, when it's open, completely reasonable, I would say, to go for this team. They know they can get further into the map. They know it's
Chual.
strong holding in that mid game and then trying to take out teams towards that late game as well.
Niklar qıçude, Chual, Lamborghini, Levis.
So I think this is a really good move from DX Xavier, and again kind of feeds into that storyline as if you made those points happen in that first day, you have a lot of room to switch up tactics. To switch
Anu
up
Parajininiki Counter Strike dema. Tekken 3'dan olingan.
19 points. They might
Parajin.
consider dropping over towards Pachinki and just trying to push it to the limit.
Devil Jin.
Versus Nigma Galaxy, trying to win out on that hot drop and then going out from there because those 4 eliminations would be very nice. And you can't really fear that fact of what if we lose the hot drop? You just have to go and think to yourself, we're going to win this hot drop. We're going to move from there. We'll take that central position, give it some really good rotational paths into the late game. Everyone else in this lobby is just going to get trounced by us. You just have to think that you're a much larger team than you actually are.
Yeah, you've got to embody
Reject.
the structure, right? Make it, you know, look like it's hard for you to fit through doorways, that kind of stuff. Build the confidence up by making yourself feel bigger than you are. And that was what they did. I mean, even back in Group Green, right? It was kind of them versus Bra was just like the battle of Pachinki every single time, Blank. And DX were willing to fight those down to the bitter end, you know, limping away with one player left if they needed to. Or
They'll
even
later.
conceding basically an entire run on one of our games of Erangel just to guarantee that drop. So I like the fact that they've at least moved away from that here and kind of thought, all right, we really did risk it, you know, back
Vitali.
now it's a little bit of a different kettle of fish. Let's not go for those sort of plays. So good to see the improvement there and the adjustment as well to be willing to even give up your normal confident
Yaxshi o'yinchilar mashlar.
man.
Squash.
Word that is
Vitaliya.
synonymous
Nabata Baker.
at the minute though is every time we look towards the Elim field, it feels like it's Rosemary.
Mana Bekki fanati bo'lsa kerak, ana o'zimizni Bekki o'zbek Bekki.
It's so unfortunate for AE for the way these games have been going.
Sek qo'yapti lekin.
Here they're just exposed. You've got a line of sight. MBE just keep putting the pressure on and Blank.
Fanati 100%.
Alter Ego at this point in time, it's just not
Tommy nima gap X'dan ketdingizmi?
times at this point. There had to be
Paulo bir marta berdingiz bu savolga javob berdim.
some very risky rotations. I think this one in particular
Yana
was a
berdingiz.
drop as well.
Nima xohlayapsiz? Nima deyishimni kutyapsiz?
You go for risky drops where they provide you a bit more of an idea of actually
Diqqatdan o'zidan o'zi bunaqa gap olib keldingiz, X'dan ketdingizmi degan.
Mansion and then split dropping in Lipovka as well, and you know that Procedure dropped towards Yasnaya, MBE Sports drop around this location as well. You're sort of playing with fire at that point in time. You know, there is just an opportunity to look, give up on the scouting early on. We have a very good read on where most of these teams move in from, just from watching a lot of the other games that have happened throughout the group stage. let's just go for a 4-man push over towards the PODDERJKA. We'll split out. We'll try and sweep up towards the top side of Pmgc and move down from there. There's a lot of good little pit stops along the way on that side.
Zona zoru.
For UCHUN, again, a risky drop, which I don't think was particularly necessary here.
Necessary.
Kind of expected from them. Move up towards northern side, take the high ground control, and play off the back of that one. So I like this from Xavier indeed. Mad Bulls also find themselves on the northern side of Yasnaya. Very nice little quick.
Oh.
Very hard shift over towards the eastern side, encompassing a lot of water in this one as well. So if teams want to get
Gitti bir iki zayız lazım. Uçuş başladı ama.
longer, but for most teams it's going to be either trying to sweep on this northern side or trying to hold towards some of these compounds on the edge. It's kind of a difficult position to play in. Some teams will be afforded some great spots early on if they
Voy voy voy. Hamma kirib ketyapti. Mad Bullslar ham agressivnik yo'q.
will be struggling to find themselves a home.
Yeah, man. This is one that's setting up to potentially be a bit of a community swimming pool circle if it keeps up like this. About 40% water at the minute, so landmass
Melis.
really going to be important to lay claim to early. Try and set yourself up as quick as physically possible and don't leave it up to another
NBA'lardan bitta o'yinchisi nokia oldi qattadir.
compounds. The mass migrations are coming through. You can see everyone starting to make their rotation
Nadbaltu.
towards the zone, trying to get there as quick as physically possible. Bit of contact.
Bugun bilmadim lekin unaqa qiziq o'yinlar bo'ladi deb o'ylayman. Ertaga zo'r bo'ladi, по-моему.
Just listening out for where everyone's headed.
Taqsadga zona suvga bersa, zonani zona suvga bermaydi hech qachon.
We've got the pull up from Alliance down towards the
Voy voy voy, qayishgan yomon o'tdi lekin.
That nade was tasty blank. That was a free
Lord
quarter
minus
straight off the
Vitalia.
top of OCO.
Yeah, certainly painful. In the meantime, Inco is getting picked up by Pmgc. That's on the south side right now. Both teams were rotating in, so some pretty decent shots, I assume, were being made from inside the vehicle itself. Very
Inco,
much
nene beta.
turrets going through right now from Pmgc, all in one vehicle. Slightly dangerous, but it's worked out for them so far, with Inco taking one knock and a flush off the back of that. Meantime, Malise Esports situate themselves all the way over towards the PODDERJKA.
Nima qilib bo'ladi? Bitta o'yinga yurishibdi.
UCHUN regroup on the coastal side towards the east with 3 players, but surrounded by an N-Hyper as well as the Mad Bulls, who have picked up what I think is one of my favorite positions within this circus, a really nice ridge side that you can play from.
Feyzlar zo'r zakrut berdi lekin. Rostdan zo'r zakrut berdi ular.
Do you have to worry about some of the teams on the east?
Nigma o'ldi. O'lish kerak bular lekin hozir. Voy, komandalarning passivligini.
You are going to be driving around a lot, and it's even more terrifying the fact they're in one.
Ketdi, qizil bo'lib qoladi anu. Ha, aytdimi hammasiga berilgan временный.
But not before Coops is pulled out of it. Freak will just have to leave off the back of that.
Man, it's so unlucky. You see the heads up play there, trying to dash the smoke can before the drop, so it blooms to at least give him some sort of cover. But
GG.
unfortunately, UCHUN Alliance had
Bo'larkan u GG. O'zini o'yinini o'ynasa.
that position that they've basically just been gifted a freebie, and the situation there worsens even more for them. So you're still driving around looking for a parking spot in a never-ending garage, and there will never be a parking spot left because everyone is already set up with guns using these parking spots.
Shundoq hozir chiqib doza zona aylanib hammaga o'ynash kerak.
Anytime soon. So you're not getting that middle space. I'm sorry about that.
Tepadan tramplindan.
We do get a circle that moves down to the south side, in which case Reject and UCHUN Alliance's compounds become very, very valuable indeed. So for UCHUN Alliance currently, they do have the strongest.
Feyzlar endi zonaga kirdi.
Reject slightly safer in terms of the fact that they can just sort of sit in this compound for a while. You know that UCHUN Alliance with them being
Xursand bo'lib turib lut qilaman deb tushdik, ishda yo'q ekan.
soon, so they don't
Zernix.
want to send too many grenades, just sending them down over towards
Olib ketayotgan ekan
So,
teammate'im.
Reject have this outpost which is guarded by UCHUN Alliance. Eventually they are likely going
Zo'r pozitsiyaga oldi bular ham.
another, but both teams in this sort of mutual agreement at the moment.
Bemalol egri chiqarishadi.
Malise as well, hitting a nice shot across onto Freak and dropping the man. So the situation
Vampire Sports bormi PMGC'da?
bad to worse.
Vampire Sports
Second
chiqib
after
ketdi-yu.
second, constantly taking damage and feeling uncomfortable, just playing out
Chiqib
the
ketdi Vampire Sports.
to the elements at this point. Reject Tokyo
12-chi o'rin bo'lib.
warning shots, Phase on the move as well.
Aka shularni ko'rib o'tirsangiz, aktiv yaxshiroqmi deyman. Yo'q, bularni ko'rib o'tirsam aktiv yaxshiroq emas. Ha?
Koi's got the range on it, trying to debate whether or not he wants to engage on this one. If he can hit the shots with such substantial drop, battle back as well. Faye is constantly just taking damage from either side now.
Eng zo'ri TeamSpeak ko'rsangiz, balki bularni ko'rsam aktiv yaxshi emas lekin.
If they can't find a way to calm this one down.
Yeah, and Hyper has got so many angles on you. GK first over towards the shack right now. Jifan taking shots from inside the building. FaZe have sort of set themselves up in a pretty horrid scenario right now for themselves.
Undan
Looking to potentially regroup, but again, GK first comes in with another
yomon berdi lekin.
Meller, in which case they might just send towards this. The blue is pushing them in, and an opening
David
knock
qilarmikan?
is absolutely gorgeous for them.
Yo'q, qilolmaydi David menimcha. Zonadan olmasa David qilolmaydi.
How many more are in store for them? Be a nice way to reality check FaZe straight
O'zi o'ladi.
off the back of their chicken dinner as well. If you could pull them down here.
I don't know why GK keeps going for these shots, to be honest. So greedy.
Bitta kill uchun shuncha urishyapti.
You kind of understand why he's going for it, though. You don't want to let that player live. They are able to finally flush him out, but
GG nima bo'tga kelyapti?
right now, and FaZe currently have pretty good shooting angles over towards them. Koi luckily does find another on Mormon. He's so close and personal, taking a lot of shots.
Yo, GG nima bo'tga keldi?
Coming through, but Torres understands that he too needs to get a move on, and quite quickly with the circle moving in. Very, very quick movements all around the block for N-Hyper, but this has been
Yaxshi.
a crazy push from N-Hyper, locking both
Yopiladi N-Hyperlar.
dooms. GK first even drops over there to the play.
Kilchat qara Alkaz zonadan nok bo'ldi.
Very, very odd fight. Gladiators looking to maybe
Sifan.
get themselves slightly involved.
Vooo.
Actually indeed go down.
Ano kempdagi bandaga otarkan Sifan. Naklon paklon qilib o'tirmas ekan.
And that felt like one of the weirdest through
PMV'da chempion bo'luvdi-ku, nimaga o'yin tushib ketdimi? Bilmadim, o'zini o'yinini o'ynamadi vampirlar. Shularni ko'rib odam o'pib tolsa bo'ladimi? Danger Sports ko'rib ham o'pib tolsa bo'ladi. Nima qilmaslik kerakligini o'rgansa bo'ladi. Hamma narsani ko'rib o'pib tolsa bo'ladi. Glavnis tushunish kerak nima ko'rayotganini bo'l. Miseria. Mashina aylanib ketsa o'lsa yomon-da, ya'ni nimadir o'yinning xatolari bilan.
Yeah, I mean, I think he realized it was over as soon as he started spinning out of control.
Hop, hop, hop. Voy, men bo'lganimda lekin
Try and stop off to get a little bit of scouting done and realize that.
to'xtab turgan mashina edi-ya.
Put some gas in it. Change the gears as fast as possible, please. Nice rotate from Procedure Evos. They do get in front of the guys from Gladiators.
To'xtab turgan mashina edi-ya, Meku.
Gladiators were hoping for. If they could have maybe got a little bit further ahead instead of being stopped off there by the random player from FaZe coming through, maybe they would have been a better position where currently Procedure.
Zerichsiz hech kim kuchli otadi-da, bor.
You look at the lay of land now, where we're currently playing over towards the south side. Most
Bitta komanda suvda yashayotgan ekan. Ko'rmay qoldim kimligini.
right, just because this
Alter ego.
most amount of cover, there is so much open ground to traverse
Uf, ay, o'tib ketdi.
from this northern edge. So MBE Sports Gladiators got a bit of a weird rotation to make here. Gladiators could take the fight here versus Procedure Evos and potentially move off from the back of it. There's going to have to be some good nades, and Kitsune does not spot the player off towards his left.
Oh, nice knock berdi oxiri.
Looking for the jump down. He was ready for that one, Blank.
Yaxshi.
He spots Redface and will leave him quite
Zaksi sakrab yuboryapti.
after that uppercut from the DBS. Zerich from absolutely miles away.
Вообще rejectlardan yopilib ketdi.
Where possible, scanning the hills.
Nadbalto bilan Nasr close fight. Star o'ladi, 100%. Dabitga ham ketadi mana shu Star.
Starting to dive in.
Zenix ham o'lish kerak paydi.
Bullet after bullet, whizzing close by.
Da Zenix ham o'lish kerak. Voy, voy, voy.
Looking to try and push their way back
Voy.
through. Spam up close. Fist boy
Voy, qayerdan chiqqan bu bolalar PMGCga? Public meni u bular.
to the spray. How on on earth is he still alive with a trickle of HP blank?
Neujeli
He
yapar
went out
bittasi.
before that with nothing to his name.
I mean, Xenox did an incredible job there, but
PMGC'de ham o'yin bo'ladimi?
holding on as best they can, and the crash is just not working out. Luther immediately gets inside. They want to keep
Любой turnirda o'yin qilsa bo'ladi. Любой turnirda o'yin bo'ladi.
working with Duello, moves in, tries to clear out the player, but he gets time.
Prosta kod ichidagan o'yin edi bu endi bo'ldi.
Finally, it's
Meni o'yin qilyapti, stream sniperlik qilyapti degandan ko'ra o'ynamagan yaxshi.
But 6 eliminations for Gladiators once again.
Qoidasi yo'q o'yin qilmalaring degan chiqatda.
Have to push on through, potentially third partying down towards his position on reject could be a good idea. But
Inkola suvga sakrab yuryapti, yaxshi.
still putting on the hurt versus Inko.
7-1 UNVga bor aka.
Towards the western side of the circle.
O'zbekiston top komanda Danger Sportsmi?
So far, you can tell the teamwork is here. Yesterday they just stopped.
Ja, Paula kim olgan anaqaga XSga sizni? Paula dedim, Paulo.
Is we're seeing them play so confidently now where they're actually pulling up, looking like they're going into these engagements with the idea being to win them, with the idea being to get elims. Whereas yesterday it felt a bit timid. It felt like they were playing inside of a box.
Nega hamma pro chiqdi, ularning aktivi borligi uchunmi?
Towards them. So I'm glad to see it. Definitely a much
Aktivi prichom.
for Gladiators, looking a lot more like the side that we like to see.
Nimaga hamma bir-biri bilan yaxshi boshqa komandalar?
As well. Bit of reshuffling. There's a ton of commotion.
Misol uchun Everest Gaming 721, UNV. Hech qaysi komandalar bir-birini so'kib nimadir qilib yurmaydi. Nimaga deb o'ylaysizlar?
So let's see if that will be a potential outcome here. Roadside shenanigans for NBE. Meanwhile, Melise engaging on Origo. That was big, blank. Nice nade to open it up.
Yeah, that's a chunky nade as well. Kissu looks for another, sends it in, but Origo is tucked away just for the time being. Smoke
Hamma yamoq.
Melise spots, they don't want to get caught off on the side here.
Yomon ko'radi.
Becker on his lonesome
Endi hammanikiga osilgandan keyin hamma yomon ko'radi-da.
find at least Levi's here, which is fairly impressive indeed. CEO
Hech kim o'zidan o'zi yomon ko'rib qolmagandir.
looking to see if he could spot any of the players here in Lipovka.
Kimgadir so'kkan, kimgadir noto'g'ri gap gapirib qo'ygan.
Resided for a very, very long time now, looking to potentially get a little
O'shaning
bit
uchun
more out of it.
hammasi o'ziga yarasha.
Have them surrounded. Reject once again.
O'zidan o'zi bo'lmaydi-yu hech narsa.
Have to move forward. They know that you do alliance are behind them.
Mana misol uchun men Flex. Ya Flex, mash Flex. Короче, yomon o'yinchi yoki nimadir deb qarab so'kib tashlsam, sizlar ham yomon ko'rib qolmaysizlar buni. O'ylashinglar kerak, nimani o'zidan so'kib tashyapti deb. Sabab aytmasam nimaga buni aytmoqaligini. U shunaqa sabab aytmaydi, nimadir deb tashlaydi. Shunaqa sababini aytmasam hayron bo'lasizlar. Nima unaqa deyapti? U shunaqa sababini aytmaydi. Prosta gapirib qo'yadi bo'ldi. Va bunaqa deyapsan-ku, nima unaqa dedingcha o'zi ham bilmaydi ekan. Auditoriyam oldida gapirdim dedi, orada bo'ldi. Kechirim so'rab qo'yadi tinchgina. Reject. Yalla.
Yeah, you really do need an airburst.
Yalla.
Nice shot comes through.
Voy, zonani.
Towards you do alliance. The Gladiators continue to lose members. Squash finally does go down off in the distance. And the circle does center up and confirm up towards Lipovka. So any team that made that decision early is happy about it.
Close fight.
You do alliance is losing members.
Voy, yaxshi. Ha, bo'ldi, yopildi.
At least keep them alive for a little bit longer, but the drop shot just ends up with them being dropped themselves. You do alliance out and reject up to 5 eliminations.
Reject'li comeback qilamiz deyapti.
Team looking more Oni S today. Demonic coming through from reject.
This is more what we wanted, right? You're raising hell a little bit now. They're getting stuck into the game plan, not playing as timid, fighting when necessary, trying to play towards center, contesting.
Senator bo'lsa boshqa yo'roqlaridir.
It's better from reject, but they've got to
Bitta deydi Tunaytni hurmat qilardim men.
let it drop off now as they do at least find
Hali ham Tunaytni hurmat qilaman, ukam deb bilaman Tunaytni.
and control that one. NBE keep popping up all over the shop. It feels like NBE have just been running back and forth, trying to stay alive from this roadside, having little moments of chip.
Besni yaxshi komanda bo'lsa kerak, lekin UCHUN
Just in front of rejects. They're exposed if they go for a bit of a push. They're just using the smokes to
Kelnayt deydi eng zo'r close fightermi? Hozir Ferno bor, Fernodan kuchli emas ularni hech qaysi.
got the lineup on the second as well, blank. The nades alone could be
Ferno lishki kuchli o'ynaydi.
Man, the long
Voy, yomon ikkita nok kelib olishdi.
good, but
Yopildi, garislar. Voy, birga bir qopdi.
Now Duello left to challenge versus Akaze off in the distance. Nice shot.
Bo'ldi, yopildi.
Quickly cleans them all up. And what a clean finish there from Akaze at the end. It looked like it was all done and dusted for the squad, but fantastically well.
Otaktomi biz stream o'ynaganda hamma bilan yaxshi bo'lasdi. Streamdaligi uchun shuni. Yo'q, streamda o'ynashning aloqasi yo'q. Prosta men ham streamda o'ynayman, men kimdir bilan yomon emasman-ku. Suyagiyode tilni kontrol qilish qiyin. O'sha tilni kontrol qiladigan bo'lsa, hech kim bilan yomon bo'lmaydi. Streamda kimdir yopib qo'ysa, zo'r, malades, zo'r yopdi. Yaxshi o'ynadi shular degan gaplarni gapirsa, haqiqatda hech kim yomon ko'rmaydi. Chonslan farqi nimadaligini. Nimaga Pmgc hech kim yomon ko'rmaydi? Streamda o'ynaydi ham. Naborot hamma, ya'ni yoqtiradi, kulishadi hamma bilan, hazil-huzul qiladi.
Under the pressure on the contact, and it's all getting a little bit sheepish. Constant damage being fired out by gladiators, sure, but no one wanting to make the first mistake. You have such a sheer number of
Ferno kuchlimi yoki Xonskill? Ramzes. Ferno hammasidan kuchli Ferno.
Being able to complete the push down towards the beach side. They're in a pretty dream spot right now.
Ferno ularning orasida hech kim kuchli, ya'ni hammasidan bitta bosh tepada turadi. Endi Knight bilan sal yaqinroq bo'lishi mumkin. Knight Ferno bilan sal yaqinroq urovini bo'lishi mumkin-da. Lekin qolganlari hammasidan bir bosh tepada turadi Ferno.
People just aren't picking up the newspaper. They're turning the Amazon delivery guy away. They will not be handing that through the post box.
Ferno opti hech kim ko'p. Dedi o'yinchilarning oldida. Skill ham kuchli.
What's great about this rotation of Gladiators as well is that they forced out the Mad Bulls from this position just with sheer firepower. Up to 9 eliminations, set 50 points after the back of this game, just around about 18 points.
Ferno o'zini holi ko'rsatmadi, holi.
Great day yesterday. This has been very, very good stuff from the Gladiators. And again, it's that pressure off in the first game that allows you to
Ferno
succeed.
kirgan o'yinlarda 7-8 ta kill qilyapti. Hoppa, GG, вообще zo'r ish qilyapti. Nice. Olmasa agar nice. Ikkinchi nokka yemay turish kerak, ikkinchi nokka yemay turish kerak. Ko'tara qolmadik. Nice. Yana bitta nok bersa bo'ladi. Meko, делай, Hajimura. Agar mana shu DSlarni yopib olishsa yutishadi bu o'yinni. Tigzini ko'tarib oldi. Tigzini ko'taryapti, ham teammate'ini res qilyapti. Yuni Alter Ego nok Frozendan. Frozenning o'zi ham nok Rosemaridan, Tulika ham bor orqasida. Tak, Rosemari res qilyapti teammate'ini. Itsun nok berdi. O'zi ham nok edi. Yana bitta nok. Yaxshi. Bo'ldi, yopishadi hozir. Oxirgi soyada qoldim. Gladiators. Bini. Voy, Rosemary. Rozenni ko'tarib olishibdi. Voy, Tulikani ko'tarib olishadi. Qarab turinglar, скорее всего, Mad Bulls bilan GG final o'ynash kerak. Ay, net qacha. Скорее всего, Mad Bulls bilan GG o'ynash kerak finalda, yana bilmadim.
And make sure these eliminations are theirs for good, Blank.
Yeah, Tixie flies over towards that position, has the M4 in hand. Lovely nade over the top as well. Finds Hoxie. Now just Binny in the back.
Nade flies over the top. Nice.
Oh,
ko'rinadi oyoqdan.
Underneath the vehicle has has eyes on, just needs to hit these shots now, but is sort of being cut off by the fire, by the smoke. Stands up to try.
Ay qarab o'tir Jigzi.
Step out is there and Tixi
Praspaldi.
gets taken down. Meku left remaining for the squad, but honestly, with the amount of damage the Gladiators been able to do, they've just been looking for those eliminations. We talked about this early on as well, Jackie, in the sense that eliminations desperately what you need. This is what you can confirm in these games. This is what you know you can handle. I appreciate that they're just fighting for them.
O'tirdi qitmirchilik qilib Jijiga yani ular. Jijini yopdi-da, u o'girilib bilan o'ldiryapti endi. Ana.
They can try and see what they can squeeze out in terms of placement because the other teams are doing the infighting for them and it's whittled us down.
Qilish kerak emas bo'lgan ishni qilishadi, demak, komandalar bor.
Oh man, Mad Bulls.
Balla Jiji topuch. Mad Bulls uchish kerak o'yinni. Baydi.
Simple pickings. As long as Mad Bulls could reset, you do have an edge. The battle of attrition is in your camp. They're setting themselves up for a chicken.
O'zlar ichni dabif bo'lib ketdi.
For Duxan, this is going to be a very important game for them. You know, 3 eliminations is not ideal.
Kim yutadi? Nima deb o'ylaysizlar?
6 points, 9 points total. It doesn't feel great.
JSlarda ham shans bor lekin.
Off the back of this in a 1-2v3, you know, 13 points on this match feels really decent coming into the rest of the day. With the blue pushing
Abala yutdi Mad Bulls.
very ideal for them.
Malatsi.
Just look so absolutely clean today. They looked at yesterday as well, and they picked themselves up yet another chicken dinner. That is 3 in the space of 2 days.
Hop, ne o'yin bo'lgan. Okay. Beka bilan Ferno Norveni bir xilmi? Juda zo'r savollar berasizlar, ey bolalar. Beka umuman boshqa o'yindan olish kerak. Jiji ili Metruslarning komandasimi? Yo'q, Jiji Kanada Serbiyaning komandasi. Mad Bulls Qirg'izistonning komandasi. Tulikni nimadir demoqchi kameraga kelib. Hop, Mad Bulls 20 ta smoke 13 ta qayashga 3 ta molik. Jiji 22 ta smoke 15 ta qayga 2 ta molik. 16 ta smoke. And best. 44 kilometr yurgan.
Something's happened, you know. I don't know if it happened at the hotel breakfast or where it was, but it seems like Gladiators have got their heads screwed back on, and they're playing some really nice PUBG Mobile today, Blank. You know, this is exactly what we wanted to see in terms of them giving us a good game, showing us.
Mashta nigmalar nima olib ketdi? Shuni tushunmadim men. Nima keragi bor edi? Katat siqib yurib oxir olib ketdi.
Let's get back to the desk with the number 1 Gladiators fan. It's Jason Kaplan.
Sorry, I think Jackie misspoke there. Misspoke. That's the number 1 Gladiator fan ever. But we have to say, it wouldn't be Gladiators if they didn't show up exactly when they needed to. On through in an event. And hey, you know, credit to them, another massive game for them in terms of elimination.
Not Baltu, big.
Well, they were able to crash in NBA Sports and kind of.
Yoma o'xshatgan, aniga lekin sick, big.
But also Mad Bulls, man. Like, there's so many things to talk about. You know what? We're not gonna talk. No, let's do it.
Frozen rus emasmidi? Frozen.
Then we'll hop to what I have ready for Cloris.
Okay, Jason spoke.
Nima savol beryapsizlar, jami? Men savolingizga javob beraman. Nima xohlaysizlar mendan? Savolni to'g'ri beringlar yoki Frozen rusmi yoki yo'qmi? Frozen rus yoki Ukrain, Tulik Ukrain.
Going for that high ground does give you a bit of an advantage. It didn't quite work out because Duxan had such a good angle, but I think that was going to be a game-winning play if they could survive until the later stage.
Honestly, I mean, yeah, go on.
No, you go on.
I was going doolally in this game. if I'm honest, Jason.
Ukrainalilarga u ruslarga mumkin emas deydi PMPL o'ynash. Immunitetsizligini.
Basically close to Lipovka end
Yevropani.
for teams to try and manage their way through
O'shaning uchun bular propiska qilib Qirg'izistonning nomidan o'ynayapti.
eliminations and then going to the west for the rotate to try and make this work. Never mind. Mad Bull's winning
Hop, head to head. Неужели matik ko'ryapmiz?
north of Lipovka and in Lipovka. Where do you begin? There's so much to talk about.
Well, obviously,
Kim
the,
contribute
smoke wall
45 ga 30. Mana вообще ko'p komandasi uchun o'ynab
the
yoribdi-da.
PO smoke wall, as he coined it,
Akazaya.
safely was something to be seen. But if we're talking about how teams got
Hop.
into Lipovka, let's also mention
Tushunmadim, nima bunaqa rang bo'lib qoldi?
Oh. What are they doing? All right,
You got really close to the mic there.
I got really close to the mic. Okay, they're the Lipovka dropping team. Where were they?
Ah,
okay,
pon.
okay, they moved west, right? They got lost one to heaven.
To'g'rilaymiz buni.
Heaven, which is ridiculous.
Aka qachon PMPL o'ynaysiz? Xudo xolasa o'ynaymiz.
The swim all the way back to Lipovka. They are lost at present. They are taking, I said it before this game, constantly taking risks here in PUBG Mobile. They're playing a very risky style. They've got splits. They're walking where they shouldn't be, going where they shouldn't be. And eventually, yes, they salvaged this, but only because teams that had track of them swimming probably was Pmgc, but they got kind of rocked up on Gladiators and kind of lost in the
Hop.
mix.
Tabletsani ko'rmay qoldim. Tabletsani bitta ko'ringlar. Mad Bulls 1da 83 PTS bo'ldi. Проход bor Mad Bullsda, Influence'da kecha ham уже bor edi. GG проход qilar ekanda endi. Baschinsga. Yaxshi. Ruhlar 100% o'tsa kerak, Megatron ham o'tsa kerak. AHC ham o'tadi menimcha. Brute Force ham harakat qilsa bo'ladi, скорее всего, ertaga. Bo'ldi, ko'rib oldim. Normal.
Gladiators and kind of lost in the mix.
this festival currently going on within PUBG Mobile.
Yetkazib oldik.
In the exhilaration of gliding down the slopes in a snowboard.
Kamera o'chirib qo'ying. Ozgina o'chirib tursa.
Actually turning people into snowmen as well. Make sure you guys load up PUBG
Ularga bitta o'yinchi kerak ekan PMPLga. O'tsangiz bo'lmaydimi? Kim aytdi sizlarga? Ularda 4 tayu o'zi. Perno, Ramzes, Donite, Senator.
Also, while you're playing in this one, don't forget about the Pagani collaboration happening within PUBG Mobile as well. You can rev the engine with the iconic Pagani Amola in Zonda.
Mashinalar reklamasi ketyapti.
Clars, are you ready to be salesman yet again?
Mashinalarni olish lekin anaqa emas, dush yani prioritet emas.
Oh, you got a V12 engine as well as 710 Newton meters of torque, Jason. It's a car for you, but it's very expensive in real life.
Well, my question is, can I fit in the car? Because we all know I'm extremely.
Ani o'rtadagi bir achkan achki menikidek ekan.
Actually, you're probably too tall.
Okay, well, that's a shame. Maybe we can get special order one and make it work. And also, the last but not least, before we head to a break here, the new RP8 for Victor available now. You guys can show off your victory on Pmgc 5 and also use your Victor to cheer for your favorite PUBG Mobile team. And we all know who people are voting for. Max is all aboard the Gladiator train, but we have to wait till that train takes off after the side of a short break.
Xursand bo'lyapti gladiatorslar yaxshi o'ynayotganiga men bilan. Winner. Face Clan Mad Bulls. Keyingi rangil. GGlar yana bitta yaxshi o'ynasa bo'ldi. Last chance-ga o'tadi. Tamam, assalomu alaykum. Va alaykum assalom Shohjahon. Keling. Telefonning reklamasi. Telefon $250 mi? $280 ekan. Okay, Rikki ham o'ynaydimi? Nima qilib? Bolalar senator har kuni streamda. Undan so'raylar, men bilmayman Rikkini. Menda qanaqadir informatsiyalar bo'lishi mumkin, lekin u informatsiyalar ana xayolimning informatsiyalar-da. Men o'zim uchun o'ylaydigan narsalarim. Miyamga kelgan gapni gapiraversam, men ham kimdirlarga o'xshab qolishim mumkin.
Well, Max, I know how you are the biggest fan of
Alaykum assalom deb aytdim boya. Streamlaringizga omad, rahmat. E'tibor uchun rahmat.
It does get easier from there. Keep in mind, it's only 16 teams advancing from this into that, and it's only 5 teams advancing from the last chance to get back into the PMGC Grand Final.
Ko'p qilaverdim demayam, hali ham ochilmayapti bor. Mana o'yinni yaxshilab tushunib ko'ramayapman.
My question is this. Colars, Ultra Ego. Are we going to see red rotation again?
Mani savolim shunaqa, kelares. Alter Ego shunaqa rotatsiya qiladimi yana? O'yinchida Pembelda haydadi. Sababini bilmaysizlar, nima bo'lgan?
Yeah, you can't quite, grasp it a lot of times, and you do need to watch it back a few times afterwards and just really get the notes in there, understand what's going on. But I'll have to do that after the show, I think, as well, really.
Well, it was a big segment. Yeah. We don't have time right now to... I'd have to get out the notepad.
Webka.
No, it's just not possible. But obviously, Jason just said Gladiators will win, so
Eliminations. NB 806 ta, Tulika 5 ta. O'rinlamasi 700, Tigzi 600. Yaxshi ketyapti. Men bilaman bitta streammi deb. Men bilmayman. Nima uchun, nimaga?
Where they made it past the survival stage into last chance and then got picked to the post over towards 5th place. And I don't want all the thunder to come now. I would quite like some of it to be reserved, keep a little bit of that lightning in a bottle for the last chance phase. But again, they've just started stepping up now. I don't know what I'm talking about, really. Keep going, I guess.
Keyingi o'yin boshlanyapti. DS kirsak bo'lmaydimi? Kir.
Okay, well look, you're doing pretty well right now.
Taks.
Let's slow that down.
Slow it down.
Look, if you get too
Discord'im qani?
I'm not going to make it there again. Yeah. Like, this is interesting. You are right.
Bormi desanda?
We have such an intimate relationship with this team because we commentate them all the time right over in EU. So we sort of know their tendencies. They can be a frustrating squad to watch a lot of times. But there are a lot of... Yeah, it is confusing. There are a lot of other great teams in this...
Discord не может обнаружить сигнал вашего микрофона. Давайте исправим. Откройте настройки. Устройство ввода. Микрофон Когар. Устройство вывода. Наушники гарнитуры HyperX. Ishlayapti shekilli, давайте проверим. Все ishlayapti. Режим рации. Все серверы просто. Все, escape. Bormisanda dedi? Ссылка bering. Ekranni o'chirib turish kerak. U yoqda nima gap, Telegramda nima so'z bilmayman. 1 sekund balla.
I would have loved to have seen that team do a lot better, but we'll wait. We'll wait and see.
We'll see how things lie at the end, right? Because I think we've kind of beaten the horse on that one, really, in the way the games.
They're already being beaten.
That's what I mean, but it's just not worth it. But it is a shame. I do agree with you in that sense, where it feels like, especially for sort of the storyline and the narrative.
Hop, buni yoqamiz, o'pkani yo'qottirdi o'zi. Stream ketdi, ko'ramiz. Saryan bolalar ozgina. Pempelda stima man qilaman dedi. Endi buni olaman-da. Keyin urushib mana bisan dedi. DSga kirsam bo'ladimi? Yo, DSga.
This Erangel and then 2 Miramars and basically preceding that, that's the end for you to actually accumulate any points. You just leave.
Pempelda hech kim stream bilan o'ynamaydi, hech kim. Pempelda mumkin emas stream bilan o'ynash. Daisy cho'tam.
Which is nice to say. even if they don't look exactly ecstatic every time we see him on camera. Tulicker honestly didn't look too pleased with his win, but I think that was mostly just like
Hello.
stress and
Hello.
going, okay, we needed it, at least we have a win.
Eshtilyaptimi o'zim?
If they can just keep that up, that's probably the ideal scenario, but they need to drop that stress. They did seem a bit on edge.
Dezi ovozimni eshitmayaptimi deyman.
The team massaging, right? You know, massage those worries away. Because right now, I do think they should be a little bit more elated than they actually are. I know that sounds crazy. I have just said in a different manner, be happier, which isn't always as easy as it sounds a lot of times, as we know. And I think Maples, realistically, they're doing really well. And I think they should be proud of themselves so far.
Ovozim lekin 100% eshitilayotgan bo'lishi kerakman.
To keep a little bit of lightning in the bottle, saved away for that last chance phase. Right now,
Hello.
I think they should be very pleased with where they've placed. They're currently in first. Obviously,
Hello.
Rage still has another day to play. I think all things considered,
Hello.
at the end of it, Influence Rage will be on top in terms of the standings. But
Tushunmadim.
certainly done more than enough to secure their position at this point. The rest of these games now, for them, it should just be study, right? Maintain this kind of play style, maintain this kind of pressure on the rest of the squads. Because
Mikrofon ko'gar.
we're going to have to play against quite a few of these teams again in the
Daisy?
Алло, слышно?
The more they can stake their claim on positions around the map, the more they can stake
Daisy.
their claim on these rotations and be
Да, да, eshitaman men.
Some of these other squads
Manda emas edi problema, chunki men to'g'riladim kirishim bilan.
that kind of don't mess with me factor.
Da, слышно, nima gap?
Assalomu alaykum.
Alaykum
Tinch,
assalom.
tinch.
Mikrofonni ozgina pasaytirish iloji bo'lsa zo'r bo'lardi.
I mean, that's a good vibe to give off.
Yes.
Increase your protection a bit.
XS'ni keyin rang ko'taryapsizmi? Yo'q, rang ko'tarmayapman. Rang ko'tarmayotgandim ham o'zi.
That's how it works.
Don't mess with me.
Don't mess with me. People are like,
Okay, PMGC'da hammaga spot beriladimi? Yo'q, bolalar qanaqa spot beriladi? Hamma o'zini spotidan o'ynaydi.
Don't mess with me, mate. Don't mess with me. People just walking by. Excuse
O'y hech qaysi o'yinda hech qanaqa yo'q. Sen mamyoni qilasan, mamyoda borasan degan narsa. Agar krasdagi stavka qilib yutqizib berish kerak bo'lmasa, sotilgan o'yin bo'lmasa, hech nima o'zgartirilmaydi bu yoqda.
which isn't ideal, but it seems to work.
Hamma o'zi xohlagan ishini qiladi.
Hey, look, to each their own, Blank.
Qattiq pasaytirardi mikrofonni.
Strategies do seem to work.
Ketmayman bunich.
We can't prepare.
Mikrofoningni nima qarasang, strelочка turgan bo'ladi adashmasam.
He's done a 720 kickflip round.
Sho'da shu strelочка.
Ey,
See that coming.
mana qanaqa turdi?
It's a 360.
This is wild. Look at the man doing ollies in the car.
Tepasini ham tort.
But
Right, put the skateboards down.
Ol endi yig'ishtir hamma narsani.
we need to get back in the game here, and some of these teams definitely need to get a roll in. Certainly towards that bottom side of the lobby, we're looking at N Hyper, U2 Alliance, Nick Galaxy, sort of
Spot beriladi.
pioneers so far, I would say. And I mean, they're on our screens right now.
Hop, Lord minus. Nigman o'yini umuman chiqmayapti.
And again, they keep just hemorrhaging members, I would say, on their rotates. You know what? I didn't actually get to talk about this last game, but I will talk about it now. Is that some of their rotates feel extremely greedy. I think that last match, most of the teams on that south side realized that, look, if we're on the edge already, I mean, they were rotating in from, what was it, Milter? They were battling out versus...
Yo'q, hamma ikkita komanda bitta spotga tushaveradimi? 16 ta komanda ham bitta spotga tushadi xohlasa. Yo'q, oxirigacha. Nasrlar babichka eka olishibdi o'sha. Prokuror deymi Daisy?
Nima? Siz streamingizdan ko'rmayman lekin. Ano, ovoz zadержка boru?
Ovoz zadержка bor?
Da. Hozir bizga gaplashamiz. Linkda.
Ha, o'zimga qaytib keladi deb demoqchimisan?
Da.
Ha, bunisi ham bor lekin. Ammo bag'i ham bor. Shooting range. GG bugun yaxshi o'ynadi lekin. Tulika nok.
Tajriba bo'lar, buni story.
Ikkita o'yin, birinchi o'yin o'zi ошибка qildi. Tualetdagi rejekni o'ldirish kerak emas edi. Ikkinchi o'yin mana bu Medbullslar napregat qildi-da. Medbullslar agar tegmaganda
No, Piggy ебанутый пик qildi valla. Daraxtdan.
Da. Yo, o'zi boshqa varianti ham yo'q edi uni.
Bak Xolid qilib tursa bo'lardi ancha ishni.
Ukangizga
Ana
o'g'lingizni
medli o'ldirib berardi hamma.
Da. Mana yana shu ошибкani qilyapti, qara, o'lib ketadi mana shular, bichlar. Sentrga kirib ketgan.
Putin yuribdimi?
Ko'chingda ikkitasi samolyotda oldi, ikkitasi bu yoqda. Qani Cheripaxaga borib olgan ikkitasi. Bitim bilan Meko.
Nadalik o'ynashyapti lekin.
Severni defaultga kirib ketmoqchi. Yo, вообще angar tomonga o'tib ketyapti. O'ladi mana shular, tupo o'ladi boru. Ketdi 10 ta kamandan orasiga kirib ketdi. Va Matic bilan xayrlashsa ham bo'ladi, o'sha basharasiga zaist qildi ikkita uchtasi. Matic dedimmi Meko? Qochib ketyapti shu yerda ham. Hikmat bo'lsa yaxshi pozitsiya oldi.
Bomjatga ketishyaptimi? Desa?
Men tushunmayman ular nima qilayotganini.
Angar deydi, bomjatga ketyapti.
Angar o'ziga borib oldi. Anaqa Yuda Alliance bormadi Angarga. Oy, tegzi. Angar o'ziga keldi, Angar o'zida fight qiladi. -2. Shunaqa ham alkash bo'ladimi? Asabim buzilib ketdi. -8, Qayashkalarni ham qolagan joyiga beradi. Bam. Bo'ldi, o'chirasizlar, qo'yinglar. Atak, ana quduq birinchi ochdi lekin Qayashkani. Oldi. Bilmadim bor yo'q. Qanaqa qilib bunaqa to'ppoy bo'lishi mumkin? Kitsun berayotganmikin shu qo'llarni?
Hech kim bermaydi.
Achada chunki Matic orqada edi. Yo, Matic ham qo'l beradi. Yopilib ketib bo'ldi o'sha.
Sizdan o angliyskisini ko'ryapsizmi? Manda ru uz kaza turibdi fa.
Angliskini poiskdan qidirish kerak. Ruda kачество ham slabый, ana ovozlari o'zgarib qoladi, nimadirlar bo'veradi. Ru o'z hammasida shunaqa. Qara kачествоda ko'rsat.
Nima deb yozish kerak?
Просто Pmgc yoz. Tulika like. O'g'lingiz kezmasa qattan o'g'lim bo'ladi, jinni bo'lib qoldinglarmi? Dama. Voy, Dixaver yomon katta splitda o'ynayapti.
Nechta o'tiribdi anu zritel?
Tushunmadim.
Nechta o'tiribdi zritel? Ko'rayotgan streamingizda.
Bilmadim. Hozir qarab beraman. Tak, qatta ko'rstardi. Kompyuterda qiyinday tushunish bor. 129 ta. Topdingmi?
Devam topdim.
Zenex ko'rsatdi, rejectlarni ko'rsatdi tepadan.
Ya, topdim. Nasr ko'rsatdi.
Nasr Zenexga o'tdi yana. Med bo'lsam yopildi, jiji ham yopildi. Med bo'lsku
Med bo'lsam yopildim.
Med bo'lsa g'alati o'ynadi-da, o'zani bitta olishdi. No jiji lekin to'ppoy, просто to'ppoy. Kitsun baran.
Mana bunda X'lar birinchi o'ynatdim.
Tak, Dixaver ikkinchi kun. Alter Ego ikkinchi kun. PSG ikkinchi kun. Milis ikkinchi kun. Gani Kesler ham ikkinchi kun. Yana kim ikkinchi kun. Bo'ldi menimcha. Hop, Magic Xavier, GG, Reject, Alter Ego, PSG, Milis. Ikkinchi kun adashmasam. Yo, Nat Baltu ham ikkinchi kunmi?
If we see it again on that next match from Enigma Galaxy, where they make a random rotate like that and start losing players out the back of the vehicle, I would be
Короче.
Что-то я сенgiz chorotda.
Yo, yaxshi o'ynayapti-yu, mana уже.
Не доигрывает-da. O'zini
No, не доигрывает, да. Bilmayman, qo'rqayotganga o'xshaydi. Men mashinani ko'rasam, Dachani. Tekinga bergan har bitta игрокiga. Men kostyumdagi, короче, anaqa bilan beradi-da, kod bilan. PMGC tugaguncha turadi bu mashina akkauntda. PMGC tugaganda opti yo'qolib qoladi. Временный, короче. Oldin kostyumlarni shunaqa berardi.
Biroq prem center bo'ladi-ku.
Teparoq tomonga bersa kerak. Yo, вообще centrovca qildim. Men teparoqga kutotdim. Tepa Xavier ham zonada qoladi deb o'yladim, Kempa. Nasrlar zo'r turibdi, lekin baro prям zo'r turibdi. Bang bang bang bang bang bang bang. Urolmadi.
Shukrok yurganda Nasrlar normalni farmit qiladi faqat.
Nasrlar bunaqa zo'r komanda emas-da, просто ani игроклari uncha. Ana J7 ni ko'rdingmi? Baqaloq chol tepakal.
Ko'rdim.
Mazzadir unda ko'zga nima maza bo'ladi? Inkola prоход.
Men bitta komanda bo'lam borishlarim.
Men ham hayron bo'ldim hozir. Bo'l, Chichivordan NBSlar. Bek o'ldi, Bek. Nikini qarang, Sek Bekka yomon o'xshirgan. Xayr, gaplashamiz. Freak bitta o'zi qolgan. Xavier. Bo'ldi, yopilib ketdi bular ham.
Ammo BK'da bitta o'yinchi ko'rdingizmi? Nobulmi?
Nolbol, ha.
Da, Nolbol. Qo'liga debis o'zi pizdi turib tashlagan shu bolam.
U Nolbol mayli, anu вообще bizorotda lapar.
Videodan kirib birtasi olib chiqqanmi?
Ha. GGlarni prosta aylanib chiqdi.
Na plus va kirib chiqdi-da.
Ya prosta GG ham chetat qilmadi, uni nagli kirib ko'rishini.
Chigzi burchida chilit qilib o'tirib eshitdi.
Matikam qayga ochib olib.
Yeah, Blues really being the big pressure point right now for Inco because they've got to move further in, but they know as soon as they start to
GM ham Nigmani taktikasi o'sha eskirdi.
O'rtada Diriyashga bersa kerak oxirigacha deb o'ylayman. Ana zapravkani tepasida bor-ku.
Maybe. Yopildi Nigma. Qaragin, Nigma ham qanaqa o'ynardi. Nigma oldin bitta sentrga kempga otib olardi, bo'ldi. Nigmani hech kim push qilmasdi. O'shani hisobiga PMGCda
NHP turibdi.
Ketgan. Kim?
Ammo o'rtada NHP F.
Ha, tushundim. NHP netosi. Hyperlar, короче.
А, не, нихуя. Заправка.
Zapravka. Mana shu yomon prokda, zapravka deylarga.
You'd like to see him have a good game as well.
Prosta o'tirishing kerak-da. U kimni ota olmaysan ham, nimalar ham qila olmaysan.
When it's a good
Tirpivali qilishadi xuddi.
Faqat tepadagi killarni patsasa chiqsa bo'ladi-da, yani tepasidagi killarni, devashkadagi.
having firearms in their hands as well.
Ой, как
bular
вкусно.
prosta to'xtaydi mana shunaqada. Radioda bo'ldi, yashasa bo'ladi o'tdi.
Back on the move as well, looking to set them.
Haya ishlatadi
Ya,
menimcha
metak
hozir.
qilmaydi.
Voy voy.
Looking like he wants to try and at least have info.
Voy voy voy.
Eyes on the situation.
Ular to'pni zayiz qildi, nima qildi?
Ha, molda sayest qil.
Versus what remain of Inco. One by one, they have been broken.
Убили.
Bruised there. So the Brazilian side move from the situation now as they'll go out again.
Inko Braziliyaning eng slabi komandasi bo'lsa kerak hozir.
Fought hard to even make it here. Black
Hoppa, hoppa, mana
sort of things have been
dolgi pik deb shu narsa aytiladi-da.
again. Pressure applied on them. Fnatic from the side at least assists where possible, but he's got
Tushunmaysan ham, mana nok berdi. Nima qilmoqchi edi Dalisha? Kim otmoqchi bo'ldi? Tushirib oldi mashinadan.
İyi.
Voy. Laksi ototdi qattandir chiqib.
Kim yozdi? Приятный o'yin bo'ladi. Mana shu nasrligi bo'ladi, deyim. Приятный o'yin.
Ha, bu tomonlardan hech kim yo'q-da. Inko bemalol katta chiqib yurib tepdi o'yinchi. Biz zonani adekvatni yopdi. Yutishga ham
Tamam,
shans
teşekkür
ko'p
ederim.
bularni. Vne зависимо от proga, qatga prog bersa ham bular yutishi mumkin o'yinni. Chunki mana bu yerda hozir triple anaqada, triple fight короче.
Bu Messi bo'ladi hozir.
Bularni pastdan ham otadi, ana o'ng tomonida ham komanda bor. Rejectlar. И pastdan bularni anula ham fokus qiladi. Zapravkadan, Persija. A u yoqda уже Nasr kelyapti aqlli, orqasidan sekin chiqib kelyapti.
it needs to be. It needs to come to fruition in that manner.
Уже agresivniy chiqyapti, nasrlar.
Hmm.
Еще близко chiqyapti.
Rejectga turib oldi.
Poked it out. And they forced
Assalomu
big
alaykum.
point scorer
Aka Crazy Fox haqida fikringiz?
in here in the close quarters engagement with so many teams shoulder to shoulder, all pushing further down.
Nima edi bu yerdagi qizil narsa? Menimcha anaqa dachada bosib ketganini turib bo'lsa kerak.
Isn't much breathing room. Fight for what you want.
Hop.
Pushing in now on reject.
Mana shu elgida qayish qilib berish kerak. Nasrlar.
The nade will aggress
Ham kirgizsa bo'ladi o'tga.
ready with the shotty as well, firing off buckshot from the DBS. Meanwhile, the building is burning. Lufa waits.
Voy voy voy voy.
Ham prям подсос vaqtida.
Swings round the corner.
Yo, ikkita komanda fight
Mana o'zi
qildi.
ketdi.
Portlida hozir qarani. Ayo, yaxshi qochib ketdi. Voy voy. Bir dona kill stoytmikan? Ha, noklab berishgan ekan o'zligi. Anular yashyapti, ko'tardi, hammasini ko'taryapti. Pastga hammasini ko'tardi men bil. Ey, oyog'ini tagida yotib ko'rmayapti. Yana
Oy, oy, oy,
ko'taryapti.
oy, хорошая хая.
Bo'ldi, last qoldi.
Voy, хорош.
Да, nice.
Yaxshi подсос qildi.
Duo yana keldi, qara, duo pozitsiya ushlab o'tiribdi hali ham.
Endi do'z o'lgan bular. O'lib
Misli.
ketdi ular turganlar.
Qachon oldi ular?
Menimcha tushirib olishgan ularni.
Yo'q, ular kelibdi edi.
Endi qarang ular.
Ko'rdim, hozir ko'raman, olgan ekan. Boya yutishga shansi bor deganimizda 4 ta edi ular.
Da.
Yaxshi nok berdi.
Ошибка kechirishmi deb o'tdi.
Shunaqa deysan, men o'yinchilarning skillini ko'ryapman-da.
Bilmem. Botta mayli anu bo'ladi. Skill yetmas. No. Yangi chiqqan har komanda o'sha botni bo'ladi. Прям неприятный o'yinlar bo'ladi.
Endi lishniy раз pika chiqmaydi. Passivniy o'ynaydi ko'pchilik. Haligi yangi teleoldim iPhone XS periharni qanaqasidan olish kerak bilmayapman, siz bilasiz. Yaxshisidan olish kerak. Yaxshisidan olish kerak, yaxshisini ishlatish kerak-da. Mana bunaqa periharnik. Oddiy maniki ham yaxshisi lekin. Kachtinni. Otini bilmayman. Mana to'qilgan simligi bo'ladi. To'qilgan simligi zo'r deyshadi.
Xaver'lan duo qopdim.
Xaver? Ha, da Xaver solo bittasi nok. Yopildi bo'ldi vibe. Voy, qanaqa qilib? Qanaqa qilib?
Daraxt oldi uchdimanmish.
Ikkitasi orqasiga tushdi-da.
Nasr bittasi qachon olib ketdi?
Nasr yurgan yo'lida o'lyapti. Anaqa keldi, zapravkani oldiga keldi. Alliance o'ldirib yubordi chiqib. Minus faizdan bittasi 100%. Bittasi minus momentalni.
Bittasi chiqyapti zapravkadan.
Xavier.
Bizlar o'ynashadi.
Laksi orqasiga chiqqan уже. Solo PJF Hyperlarni ko'ramiz. Hyperlarga ko'p narsa bog'liq bu. Bermayapti-da, men biz spetsam o'ynashga boru. Anok berdi, bo'ldi, push qilsa kerak zapravkan. Ha, qachon mashinasini og'unicha ko'tarib oladi u. Razmen nok kerakmidi shu?
Bularni toshiyamdi. Rotate qilishdimi?
Yap, ko'tarib bo'lmaydi-ku.
Birinchi kelganda mashinasi olsa bo'lardi.
O'ladi hozir Zaksi. Ayyo, men bilan xato qildi. Voy. Buncha xunuza есть. Bam. Fayzam chiqib keldi.
O'ldirib yuboringlar deb sayz qilishdi-da. Zakidaychi nazar.
Вообще непонятный заезд был. Basharasiga urish kerak edi uni Zaksini. Luksimi Zaksi orqa dedi. Mana shu o'yinni Alliance yutib ketadi qarab turgan menimcha. Voy, nok bera qolinglar, iltimos. Ha, 100 tali yani Alliance yutib ketadi hozir. Agar o'ynasa. Resay dojik. Ko'taryapti. Mana shu Olio agar o'ynasa, aktivniroq yutadi o'yinni.
Men bilan full ko'tara olishadi.
Ko'tarib bo'ldi o'sha full. Yana nok. O, ondiga nok beradi hozir.
Bilan urish kerak.
Nok beradi ondiga. Yopilishdi paxo. Voy.
Voy da.
Bitta qoldi. Yutdan Mormon fightni paxoda tortib. Yo'q, ha, Olio qara. Olio qattasa.
Qara tezroq.
Ya, bu bola hech qachon yutmaydi. Bu bola hech qachon yutmaydi. Qaqarayotgan joyini qarang. Yulduz Sanoqova.
Fight boyo.
Ya bunaqa bolalarni вообще o'yindan chiqarib yuborish kerak. Yo komandasi nima qilyapti?
Looking for the peak over, gets the heal in as well. The longer this goes on, the more numbers you're going to have to fight against. So you do alliance, the chance of this
Tuparelli.
Ko'zimni yumib qayotardim
Bir
borishdi.
xil bo'ladimi? Rasmga opchatga tashlab yuboring, okey, iltimos. Yo, firmasini oti bo'ladi qanaqadir baxil. Assalomu alaykum, bro. Va alaykum assalom. Sunnat nimaga?
He's got 2 nades in hand. There's no utility on the side of Pmgc Evo so far, but that might change once they start to loot some of these crates.
Qanaqa qilib PMGC o'ynayotgan o'yinchi bilmasligi mumkin kelchatda kimni o'qiyotganini. Birinchi marta ko'rgan komandalarimizni bilamiz. Qayerda nechta odam tirik qolganini.
Endi o'targan qayya.
Yutqizadi. Bitta 100%, 1000% yutqizadi. Hech qanaqasi eklashib bera olmaydi. Bashar ham qaragin, Bashar setib turibdi uni chimoligini. Cho'nchagiga qo'lni qo'ygandan ko'ra chiqarib borib otish kerak edi, bich. Asabi biz tiltga tiqib qo'ydi bu bola bor-ku.
They're playing a more fragmented system, just looking for the trade. There's the contact, it seems. Bullets being spammed into the smoke. So just a bit of a pre.
Men bilan o'zi tashagan smokka adashmasam prashvat qilyapti.
Longevity on this one being.
Naturi menimcha shunaqa misery tashadi deb, ya'ni Laxi kelib prashvat qilyapti.
Yeah, I mean, the mistake was made way earlier, and this should definitely be a Pmgc Evo's win. But the thing is, the teams go down.
Yo, ko'rmadi.
Ne ko'rmadi.
Olio should just be sending in, looking for elimination points.
Voy, otib ham qo'yar ekan. Aytdim, bu bola hech qachon solo bo'lib qolsa yutmaydi o'yinni, hech qachon. Tekinga yutib ketishdi.
I definitely think that Olio could have got, you know, at least 2 elims off the back of that if he just tried to flush 2 of the players, maybe even a chicken dinner. If he just went sooner, I think it's, like I said, as soon as you see the
Alam qiladi, rosta alam qiladi bor-ku. 100 talik oldi deb o'yladim uje.
Joyni o'zi ko'rib qolsa, men tashash mumkin lekin.
Ya o'zi ko'rmagani yaxshi. U o'ynamasdan o'yin tinchgina PUBG'ni o'chirib tashlasa, yaxshiroq bo'ladi. Foydaliroq ish qilgan bo'ladi komandasiga. Sal presharniroq bola olishadi o'rniga.
Komandasi ham aytmoqchi-da hech bo'lmasa.
Yo, shani aytolman, PMGC o'ynayapti. Full stack bulut 3 kishi o'tiribdi bitta xonada. 4 kishi o'tiribdi. Ana o'yindan chiqib ketish ham iloji yo'q-da, u yerda ko'rib o'tiradi hammasi. Aytsa bo'ladi-yu, men buni o'qib o'tdim. Team player ham bahona qila olmaysan deb yo'da. Oy. Onaning mikrofonni o'chirib qo'ydim deb o'yladim, o'chirmadim mikrofonni. Даже team player bahona qilib olmaydi-da, team playerda ham ko'rish kerak. Bilmadim, fix night. Tekinga yutib ketishdi xullas. Mayli, xursand bo'lish kerak. Bir xot qilish kerak-ku bilan. Kimdir xato qilish kerak-ku. Highlightlarni ko'ramiz, webkani o'chirib. O'yinga xalaqit qilmasdan. Rauf. Ahmed Bulls qatda o'ldi. Hali haja. Voy, yaxshi otgan ekan lekin.
Kallasini qo'yib beribdi, ikkinchisi bor.
Ha, ana bitta prefda. Bu o'zi pref berayotdi, ikkinchisi ham shatga chiqib qo'ydi. Parovozik.
Pref
Играем bir PTS. Проходка ketishyapti bilan ham yaqinlashib. Nasr, скорее всего, Nasrlar ham prоход qilsa kerak. Yudo Alliance kecha zo'r o'ynadi boru. 3 ta o'yin top uchganmi kirdi adashmasam. Int bilan.
Chomsam u yaldi hayotganda o'shga chomsam dik yilda bit qilsa bo'lardi. Qanday uchirmasa ham.
Yo'qda bilmayman, aktivni o'ynash kerak edi. O'zi fightda eshityapti-yu, mana bang bo'lib yotibdi. Bunda qarashing kerak-da, nima bo'lyapti o'zi, qayerda bo'lyapti u narsa. Yaqinlashib ko'rishing kerak-ku, qachabi. Chunki o'zi mana 7 ta odamda bilib o'tirasan team listda nima bo'layotganini, nima qo'yayotganini. Misol uchun kilchatda o'qib o'tiriladi-yu. O'sha payt bo'layotgan, u tushunish kerak edi-da, top uch bo'layotganini. Tipa top uch bo'lyapti, bo'ldi, значит, bu yoqda fight. O'sha fightga yaqinroq borish kerak edi. Qancha agar даже top uçmas, top 4 deb o'ylaganda ham noklarni ko'rdi-yu, borib bir ikkita kill qilib ketsa, ikkita killda bit qilib ketadigan bo'lsa ham, shu bir placementdan ko'proq placement olib ketadi-da. Misol uchun top 4 olsang, 4 place oladigan bo'lsang, top 5 olsang, 5 place olarsan. O'sha 5 place olmasdan 4 place olib, lekin plus 2 kill qilib ketsang, bir place ko'proq chiqqan bo'lasan-da. O'sha narsalarning rashyotini bilmay olish kerak. Hozir qiyin tushuntirib berdim, nima demoqchi bo'lganimni, lekin
Tushundim.
tipa mana borib top 4da yopilib qolsam hozir nima bo'ladi deb o'ylab yotdi-da u, agar shunaqa o'ylagan bo'lsa. Lekin borib ikkita kill qilib ketganda, o'sha top 4 o'lgani taqdirida ham zato 6 PTS ko'proq PTS olib chiqardi. Necha minut? 3 minut.
Oldingi yilda prоход 79 PTS'dan bo'lgan ekan.
O'tgan yil 15 edi. 15 ga bir sistem edi.
So'shtada medlarda bor, уже JJlarda ham bor desa bo'ladi.
Bu 60 bo'ladi menimcha. Mani kelar bilan gaplashib turdingiz, men bir 7-8 minutda kelaman.
Barli.
Eshitmading-a hozir bundan oldin gapirganimni eshityapsanmi deganim?
Eshitdim.
Bundan oldin gapirganimni ham eshitdim.
Yo'q, eshitaman.
Bo'ldi, значит, mikrofonni so'chayotgan.
Ne birov ketdilar hozir. Maya bakirlar To'myoz keladilar 5-10 minutda. Rich Frozen. Lucky Palmer bo'ladi. Yengil kartamiz boshlanibdi. Mapdos fight bo'larkan. 4-2. Qilish moment bo'ladi o'zi. Akalar. Tasarruf jasam. Rehost. Nimaga? Anlayapti.
Posizionato?
O'zbekistonga ketdi.
Io è quello di mettere la serie.
Nazarga peligirovka deyman.
Rehost qilishyapti.
Ana bolani arujasi yo'liga.
Manimcha dardi sekinligi.
Auditoriyasi ko'p bo'lsa kerak uni ham. Mashkarta oxirgisi ekanman-da ko'rayotganim. Yakras 6:30da tugasa, o'sha poligonga kirib ketsam bo'ladi. Ovozi bormikin bularni? Gaplashsinchi biz bilan. Shu perexodnik ventilatorlar sotsam bo'lmasmikin olib kelib?
Zo'r temali.
Nima deyapman bu o'zidan o'zi? Nimadirlar deyapti, lekin gaplashyapti boru.
Okay, I thought I was going in a different direction. We got the love heart instead. That's great. Thank you very much. For FaZe, honestly, that last game was really, really cool. I enjoyed the fact that we saw the almost 2v4 coming through. They looked pretty strong with it. There's definitely some strong players on that team. Mello and Vintoris, really, really long-standing players within the scene as well. PUBG Mobile, they've done some really good stuff in the past. We've got Enigma Galaxy on screen at the moment. A team that's just kind of struggled, right? And I think that one of their major issues, they don't find enough vehicles, which feels like, you know, it feels like you're failing at the first aspect of PUBG Mobile. And that feels bad to say because I know they're a good team, but that's like rule number one, right? Just get some vehicles on the drop, go from there.
Bo'ldi, o'z tarafda turishibdi bolalar.
Ko'p odam mamo. Raziyam xuddi boru. 10 tarafda turibdi.
Nimasi o'ng tarafda turibdi?
Masalan, naushnik qilgan joy bor-ku.
Ha.
Biza chap tushasi ham ko'pda o'nda turibdi-da.
Men o'ngda ushlayman, mana Amerika o'ngda turibdi misol uchun.
Siz ham o'nda ushlaysizmi?
Men o'ngda ushlayman. Tulika chapda ushlar ekan.
But 20 seconds before we get back into fourth match of the day. Bit odd because again with that playing path. No.
Like qarang, manaqaga Monkey Kingga o'xshaydi. Ko'rganmisan o'sha kinoni?
Da ko'rganman.
Monkey King Dotaga geroyini ham qo'shib qo'yishgan. Слишком imboviy geroy lekin tayog'i bilan bitta beradi, ketdingda.
Dante polni ban qilishdi birinchi bo'lib.
Ha, Monkey King ban qilishadi. Адекватный разлет. Bizaga не то разлет. Inko.
Pay turib ketadi.
GG верхний uchadi походу. Medbol Trajokka bor razleti. Ular vampirlarga odam yomon siqilyapti-da hali ham. Fluq. Fluq. O'ynamchi voqli sakrab yuborishdi Pachinkiga. Tushunmadim nima qilyapti? Ha, yo'q, sakramagan ekan. Ahmed Bulut sakrab yubordi deb o'yladim. Nima gap Tommy bro Sunnatov yana yozdi. Men boya ham yozuvdim-da. Tinch Sunnatov soluvlar yaxshimi? Qatdan oldingsan?
Pozitsiya o'ynash qiyin bo'ladi-da.
Yo, bu yerda ham o'ynasa bo'ladi, bilmayman, o'ynamayapti komandalar. Voh, zonani qara. O'ynasa bo'ladi. Pozneda ham prosta fight qilishni bilish kerak-da.
Birinchi blokdan keyin hamma sentr.
Birinchi blok emas, mana qarab hop 2 minut. 2 minutda prezimlitsa qilyapti deylik, komandalar примерно 3 minut lut qilishga vaqt ajratishyapti-da. Uch minut lut qilishyapti.
Ha, parashutdan qarab yuribdi. Bizga yaxshi narsa bo'ldi mana shu lekin. Voy, qatdan topib oldi 3x bilan MK. Zerichga ber, flyke tushirib oladi Zerich. Tumshug'iga chiqmoqchi. 30 yuradi mashinamiz. Faizli nijniy lut qilyapti.
Who is he?
Dacha, tak chiroyli ekan, skina.
Hozir borib tushirsa bo'lar ekan buni.
Bo'ladi, ovozi неприятный-da. Dachaga faqat Tesla tushirsa arziydi. Tommy aka bugun tug'ilgan kunim edi. Tabriklab bering, Abdushi. Rodi. Tabriklayman Rodi. Abdushi.
Become a little bit haphazard. I think they've been fortunate on some of these other games where, for instance, they had an opportunity on that last match to escape and they zoomed in over towards Inco.
Ketdi Vintares gaplashamiz.
Got put down by them, but that could have been a much better fight if it wasn't the fact that Becca just withstood the force of a vehicle going.
Neudashni stop qildi.
O'zi kerakmidi, deginam keladi deb o'tga stop qilish. Va o'ladi o'zi anonos. Aytdim, o'zi o'ladi hozir, do'jik. Bash nima chap tomondan pik qilishadi, tushunmayman-da. O'ng tomondan возможность bor, hal hajak yotdi. Orqadan fulkasiga otdan ulan. Ketdi u yo'da fight bo'lib ketadi Alhaji bilan. Yopiladi mashina qarab turasiz. Yopiladi mashina. Minuslar olib ketadi, короче, yopilmasa ham. Bilmadi-da boshqa skvatligini. Tushirib olsa gap yo'q. Alhaji вообще jinni deb bor, ana o'zini pempelada yorib yubordi. Dombo. Men bolan qarang, realni anu kibersportsmen-da.
FSS is moving straight up towards the top side of Everest, trying to escape as quick as he can, get his level 3 and high kick done here. Fahidan sends towards that top side, just tries to spot for him, but I don't think FFS is going to be in this situation for too long at all. Al-Haji will just be medkitting away, gets himself back up to full HP here. But FaZe, I think
Yo joydan minus olib ketdi.
Zoom operations after taking that initial knock there from Gfan. And it will be N-Hyper who really does suffer the consequences.
Xitoy yani invite berilgan komandasi qanaqa ekan? Men o'shanga qiziqman.
DX on screens here. Getting the looting done.
Nimaga Xitoyga invite bergan ekan? Shunga ham qiziqman. Normalni summa otganmi deyman. O komandani men eshitmaganman-da. Qaysi o'yinchilar o'ynashini ham bilmayman komandada. Hoppa.
Спокойно открываем.
Timing. Simple'larni videosi bor-ku, bunday timing deb baqiradi. Nigma shkolada nima yo'qotib qo'ydi? Pachinki lut qiladi bular. Ha, 2 minut. 3 minut emas, 4 minut lut qilishayotgan ekan. Ha, Nigma уже за 3 oldi.
Nigma Galaxy make their way in towards Rozok. I think this is a bit of a lion's den that you don't really want to get.
FaZe endi kesligigina tiqibdi.
Gets taken down by FaZe, who pick themselves up yet another point on the match here. Quest tries to come in for a little bit.
Oy, Al-Haji.
Very ready for the same peak again. Doesn't try to go for anything fancy here, and Quest realizes it's probably just a good idea to bail out this one. Is up towards the north.
Nas skip qiladi, bespalezny fight bu.
They've got a lot of time ahead of them to make this one happen. A lot of teams did shift themselves over towards the east side.
Nigma.
So a lot of this western edge is quite free, and a lot of the infighting that has happened between.
Как были открыть gibi işte.
O'lib ketadi paxoda mashalos.
Haven't made their initial rotates yet. Zerich spots onto Ralph from Nigma Galaxy. You got Freak on the side here, but Zerich is very quick with it.
Zerich solo.
But like a shot.
Ha bo'ladi bes. Orqasidan
Hayk tipi yalangandir jetoga chiqdi.
Bu nima qo'yib? Nima split bu? Ikkita shkola, ikkita rajokkara. Rajokkara bo'lsa ham mayli, rajok angar. Nimadir chakib olib o'ynayaptimi bular? Malayziyada nimadir chakib qo'yishyaptimi komandalarga? Bir qarasang vampir g'alati o'ynayotgan bo'ladi, bir qarasang jiji ichayotgan bo'ladi. Paxoda ovqatiga nimadir qo'shib beryapti bularni bor-ku. Landga borsak, o'zimiz pulga narsa olib yeymiz ko'chadan. Gastinsida berayotgan ovqatni yemaymiz. Nimadir qo'shib beradi bular paxoda.
Ya qo'y shunaqa proqmi?
Boyagida ancha aqlli proq bu. Bu shooting tomonga tortadi bu, adashmasam. Ko'rasam sentrga naryad qilmadi, uje bordi, qatlaga o'ynashi mumkinligi. O'ynaydigan joylari ko'p hozir jijini.
Jililar yapmaya muhtaç. Bayzi.
Shu yerda ham agar kirib ketishmasa sentrga
has made for a very interesting western side of the circle.
Alter ego bitta minus oldu.
Opting just not to push forward. Quest, I think that
Biz project qilishyapti-da, просто narrate qilishyapti, nahvoy.
Ha, To'leka ketdi kartishga tergani. Zericham ketadi poходу. Voy voy voy. MK'da ot bitta o'qing tegsa o'ldirasan. Ha, pulemyot ekan dash. Birozni solo.
Cap.
Nattori nimadir zo'rni chakib o'ynayapti hammasi.
And he could have been eating that nade, would have absolutely ruined him. Luckily, Mad Balls will still hold on with just one man, Frozen.
Fight qiladigan timing emas-da bu. Kim bo'ladi center zonada. Любой moment orqadan kimdir kelishi mumkin. Mana даже hozir yopdi deganda ham уже ko'p turibdi orqasida. Nigmani ikkitasi shu yo'lga o'tyapti. Okay, Aro Esports PMPL o'ynasin. Bularni kunini berishmaydi. PMPL kvalifikatsiya o'ynasin, PMPLga chiqsin, keyin xudo xolasa u yog'ini gaplashamiz.
Alter Ego desperately needed those points as well, up to 4 now total, and I think for them, currently in 9th place, 36 points, that takes them to 40, so they're not in the worst spot in the world, but it's not great either, let's put it that way. I think for Nigma Galaxy on the other hand,
PMPL slot olishimiz kerak deyman bu ishda o'ynaladiganni.
Realistically, Hyper currently at 10 points total, 0 points on the game. There's a couple of these teams from Group Red that really do need to get a move on at this point in time. But this is one of the more infighty lobbies we've seen throughout the entirety of the survival stage.
Fahidan.
Just quite dominant.
Oldu poходу Fahid. Oy, qatga qayotibdi.
I would say in terms of fighting that's been going on.
Uramasa.
Uramadi orqasini o'girib oldi. Chiqib urish kerak edi uni. Jijini ana boygidan ham xunukroq berdi endi. Oldi kemplab bo'shyapti Jijini. Bitta informatsiya olib bilishgan berib olishdi turmalarni.
Nigmalar narrate qilgani ketadi.
Nigmani o'yini shunaqa, Nigma просто narrate qiladi bo'ldi. O'xshab qolsa top 3 ga kiradi,
Okey moment.
Top 3 Pmgc nima deysan?
They've got a good setup in terms of the position, but they haven't really cascaded back. They've still been controlling the outer ridge here towards the hillside after not wanting to give it up when Mad Balls pushed in and applied a bit of pressure onto them.
Ana top 3 Pmgc nokyapti.
Ikkinchi noka bu. Minus olsa shu ikkinchi minusi bo'ladi. O'tgan yilgi PMGC komandalardan DRS top 2 oluvdi. Barra kim oluvdi? Studio oluvdi. Alpha 7 oluvdi. Alpha 7 bo'lsa top 3 по-моему Vampire OS'da oluvdi, adashmayotgan bo'lsam agar. Короче, o'tgan yilgi top 5 talikdan уже ikkita komanda chiqa olmadi, xullas.
Studiyalar muhtasham.
Studiyalar o'yinni o'ynaganda. O'tgan yilgi yengillikda agressivni o'ynashani, PMG'da unaqa o'ynab bo'lmaydi deb o'ylardi hamma. Studiyalar o'ynagan. To'mi qanday zo'rmisiz, tanidingizmi? Samarqandliman. Jo'rabek Ashurov. Jo'rabek Ashurov Samarqandlik. Eslomadimu Jo'rabek? Ya, ketsin. Yuragim siqilib ketyapti jijilarni ko'rsam bor. Measure Pad kuchli tomoni-chi, team playerga ham qaraydi-da. Team player agar fight qilgan bo'lsa biladi. Men misol uchun hozir Measure Pad bo'lganida o'rnida bilardim mana shu faze'lar. Kelib pop chiqa olardi teammate'ini. Bitta Miku ham bo'ladi hozir. Omad
Duoligini bilmayapti buni.
Yo bilish kerak, Feyzni ko'rdi-yu. Qachaba otidan bilayotgandir. Yani agar otidan ham bilmagan bo'lsa, tipa team player o'zimasi debit ham qildi-yu, o'shandan ham bilmagan bo'lsa, duoligini bilmadim.
Bir xil yo'qmi deyman.
Yo, bu safar Qunuro aytaman, bu safar poliga ketadi. Mamyolarga ketadi bu safar, короче, ani tualet tomonligi menimcha. Severni default tomonda tualet bor. Assalomu alaykum. Assalomu alaykum Nikatin bro. Voy. Ketdi karshga.
Yalla. Qatiyot o'tdi.
Mate, again, this is Mela just
Dabbala.
absolutely today. And I mean, we saw that on that last game, almost the 2v4 versus Pmgc Evos. And Mela once again shows that he can do it just as easily in the mid game as he can in the late game. So really
Yana qacha o'sha proxodga bo'ldi. Kim nima deya olirdi? Yo, to'g'rirog'i proxodga bo'lmadi hali.
yes, that guy is absolutely killing. And I think that's going to bring Gladiators back down to earth once again. Maybe one or two more good games for them to see them feeling a little bit safer into the lobby at the end of the day. 59 points, it's pretty decent.
Medbay sat down to 17 points. Lambargimbar qo'rdi.
There's still a chance, but that does not look promising. For FaZe,
Buni ham tushiradi hozir. Tushiradi.
not always been able to get all their players.
Informatsiya beryapti, o'tib ketdi deb, ani ular ko'rib to'xtash kerak o'sha bo'ldi. Salla yaxshimi? Salla yaxshimi aytdim. Big game. Yo, men prosta-chi, men komandalarni ko'ryapman-da. SNG nani bir ikkisida bundan kuchli komandalar o'ynaydi menimcha bor. Tam Lakers, Liberty. Menimcha. Oldin misol uchun PMGC ko'rsam, men rostdan o'pib olardim ondan. Nimalar qilish kerak, qayerda qanaqa o'ynash kerak. Hozir ko'rsam mana nima qilmaslik kerakligini o'rganyapman. Nasr yana o'sha pozitsiya. Yana tepasida o'sha Inko. Mana mashlarda tugadi deb o'ylayapman zona.
It's a little bit of a difficult scenario for them, but they're able to hold on to it. Not bad at all. DXA if we continue
Ana
on
PMPLmi, men yana birinchi o'yinini
Muomala
eslasam.
esport.
Inco moving over towards NASA over
Bular biladi-da, split shunaqaligini.
a little bit of a difficult position to be playing into the able to
Voy.
support his teammates, but nice first initial spray.
Cho'zib tura oladi lekin bu menimcha.
Ikkita uchtini o'q beraman deyapti-yu.
Voy voy voy.
Ikkinchisiga ham nok berdi. Bo'ldi, ko'tdi qiz naklet qilma. Keldi teammate'lari, bo'ldi yopishdi. Ups. Ha, u yoqda Nadbaltu solla yaxshimi deyapti. Ketdi ikkinchi nok. 2-1. Voy. Uchinchisi ham nok ilib oldi.
He goes out of the situation. Star comes sprinting in, and this fight keeps on going.
Mate, there's no point in the
Mashina borligini bilmas ekan.
first aid kit in his inventory at all. Like, what was he doing jumping?
Voy, passajirga o'tir.
He didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. And with that,
Yuragini siqib.
Kavul nimadir chekib qo'ygan
a
balkim.
lot of these players coming through from NASA, a total misplay in my opinion from what was an incredible opening fight there from Spec himself. And then Abete is able to clutch this out. It's basically all down to the fact that you just don't use the utility that's on side. There was more than enough
Men bilan yana
time
xuddi shu narsa.
to use it. Just the aggression there was a little bit silly.
Qancha lifelaygan xod.
Still pushing on.
Qotdi, menda ham qotdi stream kachitasi tushib ketdi. Majorlar o'ynayaptimi? Majorlar final o'ynaydi. Grand final o'ynaydi.
Time is wearing thin for them too.
О, вот это пуш, я понимаю. Mana bu ne aytsak, вот это мужики mana. Более минус 3 на ровном месте.
As Link goes down, Lufa again aggresses onto Misery, and one by one, Evos are becoming extinct as they the server quite quickly. Luxy though wants to try and save face. Nades thrown in, nice tag on at the first. Has the DBS as well. He could clean out the building here, Blank, if he can find his way in. Nice nade to at least defend. Smoke canisters go up as well.
Yomon qayga berdi lekin.
And the eye line, but could be exposed to Coops and Co from the back. So Reject have taken command of the gas station for now.
That was definitely a deluxe grenade if I've ever seen one. Nade over the top from Rage. Yosio bounces. Actually just airburst a bit too early there for him. Looks to send another one over the top. Has a generalized Yosio will finish it off and Pmgc even.
Yomon push bo'ldi, ozmam yo'da.
This is the position where Pmgc won the game from last match.
Qayeshkasini ham voqliroq berganda zo'r bo'lar.
We'll take it off your hands, no problem. Quick push in, picks up a lot of eliminations off the back of some really nice shots with the DPS.
Shu brat ko'rsatmasa bizni.
Olib tashlaylar.
It's starting to get a bit better for them.
Olivia yo'q.
You know, their averages aren't looking too bad at all. Currently 5 points per game. Yes, it's
Voy, Lutku yugurib kelishini qara.
Top olishsa bo'ladi shular.
Men rejectli yutadi menimcha. Qacha ikkalasi ham yaxshi fight qiladi. To'g'ri, ikkalasi ham emas. Reject yaxshi fight qiladi, Yudo Alliance tako yaxshi yashashni biladi. Bu zo'r kontrol qilyapti zonani Alliance. Iftaro bu yoq tomonda o'tiribdi zonani. Iftorligiga ketgan. 3 ta solnik, bitta trio, 2 ta fulka.
Bular maza qilib o'ynaydi.
Reject hozir ko'p o'ldiradi tushib. Orqasidan Frozen nok berib qo'ymasa yaxshi bo'lib ketadi.
Start to set their focus on the new zone. Everyone's going to want to move their way further forward now. You do Alliance with a good spread of it as well. They'll have nice control to work off of. Meanwhile, MBE sec on the snipe with a minute firing off the warning shots, makes his presence known, but no actual connection. And he has given an inkling across the of his position now.
Hop. Mandagi otarkan. $40,000 yutdi-ku birinchi o'rin olganiga. Da $40,000 yutdi. Puli ko'p endi ular.
Will be able to get himself to fairly defensible position as well over on this side. MBE Sports off in the distance.
Eng ko'p aholi chiqolmaydi deb o'ylayapman men.
To spot that one out. Once again, we see UDO Alliance in this situation where they potentially can take the chicken dinner on this game. They came second on that last match. So far, some very nice little averages on our angle. Reject will send in over towards Coops, last player remaining. Good initial grenade, but just overwhelming force here from Reject.
Nokber.
Aggressive Seagull at the boardwalk, just wanting to steal away their set of chips. And they take that one down instantly. You do Alliance. They've got a good spread for it, good setup in terms of the positioning to maybe get a few shots off here onto Reject Tokyo. And they're the ones that want a gun for the longevity on this. Both squads with 4 players alive. For Mapples, it is just Frozen.
Reject Tokyo. Komandani otishnoq Reject hop. Frozen oldu. Dino o'zbekmi? Yo'q, Dino o'zbek emas. U basharasiga qaranglar, qanaqa o'zbek bo'lishi mumkin Dino. Dino Tyson o'zbekmi deganda savol beryapsizlar, yo'q? Agar O'zbekistonlimi demoqchi bo'lsanglar-da, O'zbekistonlik.
The distance though, Sara is able to pick up one from MBE Sports. They have to immediately get on that res there if they want to get something done off the back.
Reject Tokyo.
Just send in over towards MBE Sports as well, claim a little bit more space. Cluck also getting involved, realizing that MBE Sports looks a little bit weakened off the back of that one. Olio with this position on top of the rooftops is so
149 bolani o'qitib yeydi menimcha bor-u.
advantage coming into the future.
lekin nok bermaydi.
To get a little bit further around, but more and more shots keep pouring over their way. MBE Sports with Mondo up front with one nade left remaining.
Vo pulemyot kattaligini qara.
Here with the MG3.
Odam degan o'zi ham. Ana qiz ikkita barmoq ushlab turibdi.
Everyone waiting for the right strike, the right moment to stick themselves into the action. The aggression works well for the first connection. Bullets downrange onto MBE.
Olio fragera adashmasam komandani eng qizig'i.
Forcing one of the players into a knock and leaving them with a decision to make. No real quick move to get Modo back up. So you're probably going to have to give up the goose on him, fragmenting their numbers even more.
Lufa nimadir qilyapti.
Setup from Udu is still looking so powerful. Every time there's a peak, they have the geometry to defend themselves whilst dealing damage. They've got set up so if there is contact, someone else can help out as well. They could play for trade.
Internet qotib qo'ygan. Mabdi joyda katatsa qotib qo'ygan bir.
Everyone else sitting on the edge
Ah,
of the
well.
rim as well, not wanting to push in yet. The zone will be the only part that could potentially throw a spanner in the works for them. But with how they're playing it at the minute blank, this is looking great for Alliance.
Yeah, pretty much this was one of the circles that Reject liked.
Voy, o'qiyam.
Because Olio on this spot had to be pushed out of it.
Olioni ko'rsa odam masa bo'lyapti. Birinchi o'zbek igrok deb yozgan. Gero News'da birinchi PMGC o'ynagan igrok deb yozgan.
This game was extremely quick in terms of play. For Reject though,
O'zbekistonlik igrok-da, o'zbek igrok deb yozgan bo'lsa, endi bilmadim.
as well as Sara, but this
O'zbekistonlik igrok.
Olio off from that rooftop.
Karisku dino.
Much more even chance here, much more even footing. The fact that he's able to take pot shots downwards provides so
Andaraktiga ko'rarligan.
all the time
Ora
towards
qaras.
his teammates. It is causing so much problems. He's finally off it now, and Reject might be starting to think about when they want to move off towards the rest of their squad.
Lufa hearing the sniper shots whizzing by him.
Shiftlarni ancha skipoviy bola.
But the team defends as they assist their mate. A few pot shots back over. That's Reginosio
O'zbekistonlik lekin Dino.
hoping that he can, if not deal damage, at least start to dent the confidence. So you do Alliance.
Millati yevrey bo'lsa ham O'zbekiston fuqarosi bo'lsa bo'ldi, o'zbek igrok deb hisoblanadi.
Good setup though, and this could be absolutely fantastic. They fought
Va Olioni eplab qayishga ham bermayapti boru.
not actually turning on.
Va bu ham lak tegib qoldi.
Laying there in the open, can't really retaliate.
Qatga o'tganini bilmaydi даже.
And they're just being farmed blank. The nades go in again.
Qanaqa qilib reket qildi buni qaysi hozir?
They're taken out of commission, wiped off the face of the battleground there, leaving it into the final fight there.
Duelo.
Yeah, 3v4 now, and I think for you do Alliance, honestly,
Yomon pritsel ochdi, hozir ko'rding?
and you are MBE Sports.
Ham odamga ochdi.
He only has 2 grenades, and you can withstand 2. Unfortunately for them, Olio had been sent forward with a blinding 7 in the back pocket. The circle moves over towards the north side. Reject's going to have to play a very tough game.
Havo bilan urushib ketib qoldilar.
Either, so getting up will require.
Ha, bo'ldi, tushdi, paxoda.
Is not able to make it happen. Now just 2 players left alive versus Udu's 4, and they're going to send in on the approach.
Zo'rxaga tushdi, zo'rxaga tushdi.
Where they win, Olio continues to send in some massive nades. He's been so important this entire game. The nade
Ya, biznes o'ynaverdim Oli.
despite only getting the second that last
Fragera aytolmadim.
not going in for the 1v1.
Просто тупой, да?
For things here on this Arango.
You do take those wins blank as they're pulling off another one. Coming out so
Hech kim unda basharasiga otmadi, faqat yonidan otib yurdi orqasidan.
in a position now where things are looking a lot better.
O'ynamasa ham uyat edi.
Team that today look like they're
Короче, mujiki,
and at least keeping themselves in a good position.
charchab qolmanglar.
It actually seems comparable to think, you know, if they could maintain this blank for their day 2
Nasib bo'lsa ertaga ham ko'ramiz.
potentially the next 2 games we have.
SNG komandalas.
Alliance are actually in a much better position.
Streamni o'chiraman hozir. Qo'lim 50 bo'lib ketdi-yu, zalga chiqish kerak emas paxoda.
Yeah, it's a really nice jump up from them as well off the back of that game. I mean, Olio again.
Nechta kill qildi Olio? 7 ta kill qildi.
Deceived. I think their set on that was very nice as well. Or towards that northern side they had. I think it was.
Charchamanglar, ertaga xudo xolasa gaplashamiz.
Just holding out